here. It's big. And it's closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.
Hello everyone and welcome to Live at the Bike, brought to you by the Bicycle Casino in Los Angeles, California, the first and only webcast of real action cash game poker. My name is Bart Hanson. I'm joined by David, the Unabomber Tuckman. How you doing tonight, Dave?
Doing good.
Going for that Phil Locke look?
No, I'm cold.
Ah, I see. Well, it's probably only going to get colder with tonight's Monday Night Football lineup for you.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get on to the poker.
Well, we're going to be doing a $200 no-limit hold'em game. And without further ado, let's get to it. The blinds for this game are 3 and 5.
3 and 5, huh? So it's a $200 buy-in restricted game.
Right. Let's go around. Introduce the table.
Let's do that. Seat 1, we've got Carrie Tyler. Wow. She's just red, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. Seat 2, we've got Alan Lai. And there he is. Seat 3, we've got Peter Greystoke. What a name. Hello, Mr. Greystoke. How are you?
Now I'm ready to go.
Seat 4, we've got nobody. We'll get somebody in there right away. Seat 5, we've got Brian Campbell. Wait, I thought you said this was a $200 buy-in game.
Yeah, it is. Isn't that crazy? Look at that.
Oh, wait a second. He's got $1,500 in yellow chips. And it looks like he's got a stack of white chips, which are $2,000 more.
He's got about $4,000 in front of him. That's insane.
Wow, and this is a restricted buy-in game. He probably has been here for about 48 hours straight.
Yep.
God, he must smell. Seat 6, we've got Ubenza Diaz.
You know what? I'll bet a bunch. I can't.
Help me out that one. What does that say? Ubenza? Ubenza?
Looks like Ubenza.
Ubenza. Okay, Ubenza Diaz. There he is. Seat 7, we've got Albie Gordon. And Albie is kind of like the Dr. Beebe of the $200 game, right?
That's true.
There you go. Very tight player. Seat 8, we've got Karosh Hashemi.
Yep.
And seat 9, we've got, I believe that's Gus Rulas. Gus Rulas?
So, a lot of new players at the table. We've seen Ice in seat 5 before. I think he actually kind of had a bad night when he was on here, the 3 to 5. I think he started off like this originally. He had a lot of money and he kind of went down. We're, of course, familiar with Al over there in seat 2. Like you said, Albie in seat 7, who kind of sometimes becomes the definition of kind of a weak type player, Dave.
Yeah. Definitely. Well, you see a lot of, you see it's funny, this game you kind of see, you either see really aggressive play, overly aggressive, too much so, or you see really weak passive play often.
Now, the yellow chips in this game are $5 chips. The blues are $1 chips. And if you see whites, they're hundreds.
Check out that chip count.
Look at that.
Wow.
So he's got 3,800 in front of him.
This is a game I'd love to be in. Because you'd love it, because if you buy in for 200, you got a chance, you double up a couple of times, you could suddenly make some real money.
Right.
What should I do?
A lot of money on the table for a $200 game. Upwards of $6,000 to $7,000 on the table.
Yeah.
What's that guy's name?
And the blinds are small, but this game could play pretty big tonight.
Yeah.
What is that guy? He's a pro player.
Yeah, I forget his name, but he...
Hey, it looks like we're going to see the first hand of the night limped around. 6 ways. Ace. 10-6. Looks like Kerry and Peter have top pair. Kerry's on the button.
10 active table, man. 10 active table. Wow.
Now, Karosh is going to bet 20 here with King 10, second pair, and Kerry just calls with the ace. Action's over to Peter, so you got a bet and a call. He's not going to get involved with ace 3.
Wow.
Which is, at this level, pretty impressive.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Although I got to tell you, we've said it time and time again, sometimes the play at this level is better than the play in the $1,000 game.
Right. Now, Karosh checks and Kerry checks right behind him. And look at that. Kerry's made a straight.
Yeah.
And I don't think that Kerry bet at the end. I think they just checked it down.
Wow.
Aren't a lot of things that you can be beaten with if you have the 9 there, Jack 9. But
I mean, you got to just figure, are you wondering, this guy's in there with Jack 9?
When he bet the flop, ace,
yeah, exactly.
10, 6.
Doesn't make any sense. Well, we've got Pablo in seat 4.
Of course, if you want to follow a live thread that started on the internet, you can go to 2plus2.com, spelled out, click on forums, World Poker Tour and other televised tournaments.
And check out Alan playing the Sudoku. Is that Sudoku or Sudoku or whatever it's called?
Robert, have a nice day, buddy.
He actually got Nicole onto it.
You can also email us at live@thebike.com. I don't really know what Sudoku is, but is it some sort of mind teaser?
It's kind of like a numbers, numbers game. I don't have to ask. Alan he started to explain it to me the other night, and I got bored and I left. But I'll let him explain it to me later.
Well, a couple of limpers here, and the cutoff there, Kerry, she makes it 30 to go with pocket nines. Croce is going to call with pocket deuces. $30. The blind's only 5. And Gus has got a king-jack offsuit.
Now, we often see in this game, even though the blinds are small, people will overbet and still get calls.
So raising for value, comes
Yeah,
into
no,
play
without a
lot.
doubt.
Well, queen 6-4. Kerry's going to bet 25. Let's see if Croce gets involved with this hand here, Dave. He's going to check raise it with pocket deuces.
Sure.
Well, Kerry's looking at one overcard there. With
He
the
actually
nine.
said that he has a decent hand, Karosh said.
And she mucks it.
Nice play by Karosh. I was going to say, you certainly can't call with pocket deuces there.
And he lies to her. He says he's got it. Well, he did get her, but he didn't have the best hand.
Nice play by Karosh there.
Yeah.
And you can't blame her for laying it down. She betted, he check raised. Okay. It's not much of a draw out there.
So it looks like Brian is taking his chips out of the racks, and boy, he's got a mountain. I mean, how do you get to $4,000 in the 200 game?
Supposedly he's been here for about 30 hours straight.
It's interesting, maybe some people out there in the internet land, what's the largest amount of money you've seen at a restricted buy-in game at these levels? I gotta say, I've never seen anyone with that amount of money at the 200 game.
Yeah, the only thing I can say, I played in this game probably 6-7 months ago, and there was one point where one guy had $2,500, another guy had like $1,800, and another guy had over $1,000. So the game was huge. And it played more like a $500 game than a 200, to be honest.
Now we have a raise here to 20
Fortunately, you're right.
by Karosh, I believe. Queen, jack, offsuit.
Either or.
And Ice is going to call in the middle with 8-3 of hearts.
Ice baby, huh?
How much is the
Seat 1 is in there with 8-10 of clubs.
Helping you out like that.
Seat 8 is going to bet here.
Call 50.
And he's got queen, jack. He has top pair.
Yeah, now Kerry's got the open-ended straight draw here, and she's going to take one off. Now there are no clubs out there, and there's 2 hearts, so she could be in trouble.
So again, we get queen, jack over there in seat 8. It's not up here, and the turn is 10.
And that gives 2 people pairs, but obviously queen, jack is still in the lead.
And he's going to bet 50.
Hold on a second, let me look.
Now Brian still has the flush draw,
Well, now he's open-ended as well.
and he's going to call.
All right, boys, go to work.
Flush is no good, man.
Here we go. Let's see the river. The river's a 4. That's no help.
I check.
I got the queen jack. That's all.
And Kerry actually mucked
To me.
the 8-10. She was open-ended, but there were 2 hearts.
Yeah.
She mucked it on the
Well,
turn.
now she's only open-ended, really,
Right.
and the 10s there doesn't
Right.
help her as much.
Thank you.
$50 meter down.
Sometimes people get involved with chasing straight draws with the 2 flush out there. You don't know when you get there if it's going to be good.
Yeah, had the 7 of hearts come,
Right,
she might have gotten herself stuck a little bit.
right.
Gary, you had to keep calling.
Hey, I want to thank everyone. Thanks to everyone who participated in the Bike.com's free roll on Saturday afternoon. Remember to sign up for the new Bike.com Play for Free site by going to the Bike's website and clicking on the banner in the lower right corner.
That flush was good.
The
I got
Bike's-
numerous points to hit tonight.
25.
The Bike's website is thebike.com.
Yeah. TheBike.com.
Yeah.
And it's a new, we have a new Play for Free site.
And Karosh, boy, he's raised every hand pre-flop. This time he's going to bring it in with pocket 5s. And look at that. Now, Albie mucks the ace-jack suited like it was nothing.
Like
the
it, it was
blind.
nothing, wow.
I believe.
And Albie's got some money there.
Yeah. Boy, when you talk about looking and trying to identify the types of players
You have the big blind this
that
picture?
you're going to get involved with pots, Albie's not one of them, Dave, because if he shows any strength, he probably has a monster.
Yeah. I tell you, if this game gets short, I'm going out there.
Is that a bobblehead?
30?
And Karosh raises again under the gun. He's got ace-king.
He's got decent hands. I mean, he had
Yeah.
queen-jack, he had ace-king, he had
Well, look at
pocket
seat
fives.
9. Pocket aces there for Gus. Let's see what he does. And again, these guys are pretty deep. This game is definitely playing more like a 3 to 5 game, Dave, for sure.
without
At least.
a doubt.
At least like a 3 to 5 game.
The blinds, you have to understand, when you're this deep, the blind doesn't really mean that much. It's more of how much money I have in front of me. They're not playing for their blinds, they're playing for what's behind.
And Gus is re-raised to 80.
So he raises the minimum.
Well, it was $30 to
30,
win, and
okay,
he makes
I
it
thought it was
80, so it's 50 more.
Hope I can help somebody out here.
Now we can see that one king is dead. It was in seat 6's hand.
Oh, Karosh is in terrible shape.
Yeah, but I wonder, if he sees a king here, is he going to get into big trouble?
That's correct.
You can just shove
And he does make the call, so we're going to see the flop, about $165. Heads up. 10-3-3, a couple spades. Now, when you get re-raised, Dave, I mean, at this point, you really maybe think you have a tie at best, right? That maybe the guy re-raised you with ace-king. Usually you don't want to get involved.
130.
You're out of position here. You've got two ways to play it. The problem is, once you check it here, this guy's going to bet $100, $125, it looks like.
Yeah.
If it stacks,
What are you going to? You can move all in and hope he's got ace-king, or just fold.
How about calling? That's usually not an option here in this. Well, I guess it's always an option, but not the best option in this situation. And did he say call?
He's thinking about it. Yeah, calling puts him in a really bad spot.
Yeah.
Because you know on the turn all the money's going to go in.
No, that's not what I wanted to call you. 'Cause you're trying
And Karosh needs some sort of runner. He needs runner, king, or runner, spade.
Now, we have seen Gus on the show before, Davey, and he's pretty solid.
Yeah.
And he did re-raise you pre-flop.
I fold. I put you on
And I've seen some players actually slow play their aces even. Where they don't even bet this turn. They don't bet this flop because the flop is like, that doesn't look very scary.
Or they might sometimes just smooth call a pre-flop raise. Now, the problem is if you're at a loose table, you don't necessarily want 7 or 8 people coming in.
Right.
Never heard of a refund.
Even though sometimes people will say, well, doesn't Mike Carroll say you don't want to thin the field out with a big hand? That you're actually getting more value because your hand is so much better with aces? But you really just don't know where you're at that
Well,
point.
yeah, I mean, sometimes he actually says, I don't know if he's saying it to, I don't know if he's advocating, limping in with aces because you want all the people to call. It's more just what's behind the raise. You're not raising to thin the field. You're raising to get more money in the pocket.
You made a good read, and then you
Pocket queens this time for Gus.
And now this time, oh, wow.
Oh, look at this. And Karosh has got pocket jacks.
Yeah, they're going to go heads up again.
And you wonder if Karosh, because, kind of a manly thing to do, if he's going to re-raise, Gus will probably bring this one in under the gun when it gets back to his big blind. So let's see how this plays out.
I think good time. That's good time.
25.
Gus makes it 25.
Well, that's side of the table right there. is going.
Get aces and then get queens, huh? Wow.
Yes, I said banana nerves.
And let's see what Albie does. Albie's got ace-jack
Off suit.
in a small blind.
Yeah, he's not going to play.
Wow.
Remember, he didn't play the ace-jack suited heads up last time. And there you go. Exactly what I said was going to happen has happened. The re-raise with the jack.
Yeah, I don't know if it's such a manly thing to do or the right thing to do. I mean, heads up.
in a gambling mood, huh?
I mean, you might smooth call that because you've already got it heads up. Take a flop for cheap and see what happens.
Well, he made it 75 more, so Gus is going to have to call 75. He's got pocket queens.
Now, this is interesting. He can play it a lot of different ways. He can call and trap them, or he can raise right now, obviously.
Isn't it 100?
Well, he also needs to maybe put in a raise there to maybe get some information about how strong the hand is. I mean, queens is not the best hand you can have pre-flop. I mean, it's a very good hand.
Right, but at this point, though, if he raises, Karosh's only got about maybe $400. If he raises it up a couple of $100, what, he's going to fold it for 200 more?
Well, he is going to raise.
Yeah.
You're going to raise him 100.
And he said he's going
Well,
to make
I brought in
it,
the court. Right.
I think he's going to make it
It's 75 to call, so you're making it
175 total, so he's re-raised 100.
raising 100.
So he brought it in for 25. Karosh made it. And look at this. Karosh has gone all in.
So now we got the information that his hand's strong. Now what's he going to do?
And look at Karosh. He's shaking.
Unfortunately, I think I might be committed.
And Gus is saying, well, unfortunately, I think I might be committed, and he's going to reevaluate the situation. Karosh has, let's try to do some math here. Looks like he's got maybe another
There's the 100.
He's got maybe 250 to 300 there, Dave. More.
Yeah.
You count that for me?
Gus has already committed, I want to say, 200 of his own money.
There's about $400 in the pot now, besides this race.
Right.
There's $650 in the pot, $250 to call.
Right. So,
You know, you're getting what, 2.5 to 1 on your money? You know, if you know the guy has kings or aces, it's an easy laydown.
right,
But you have to give the chance that he might have jacks, he might have ace king.
right. And you have to put him on that range of hands, obviously.
Exactly.
And we haven't, I mean,
If he were to flip over accidentally aces, you could muck because 2.5 to
Absolutely.
1 is not enough to call.
absolutely. Like you said, 650, 250 to call here. And again, it's a range of hands issue, Dave.
Right. Would Gus make this move with ace king suited?
And he is going to call. He does call.
Wow.
And, yeah, Kurosh, it's not a really good flop. He's going to need to spike a jack here.
Yeah, nice.
Gus is going to
And I got to tell you, had they slow
take
played
that
it,
one down.
the same thing's probably going to happen. I
Absolutely.
mean, if he just smooth calls with queens, which I actually don't mind that play. If you smooth call with queens, then you can act accordingly. If the guy has aces or kings, well, so be it.
It's just an interesting thing, Dave, you know, because it's almost like with queens is a really, really tough hand to play if you're going to need to commit all your money to it in a cash game pre-flop. And these guys, I mean, they weren't tens of thousands of dollars deep, but they were pretty deep for this game. And I was going to say is, you know, I've seen people play jacks the way that Gus did. That he played his queens. Like, you might raise pre-flop, and then maybe a guy in the blind re-raises you,
Alicia is king.
you know, after you've re-raised him. And jacks are almost like, well, if you put him on a range of hands, you really only can hope you're up against ace-king.
Right.
Queens
exactly.
is a little different.
Queen's straight, because you got to say, okay, would this guy make a move with jacks also,
Right.
or make a move with ace king?
Right.
And they haven't, no, they haven't
Chips
seen
are
it.
all in the way and they're throwing.
So there is a pretty big difference between jacks and queens when you're going to
Clearly, it's one more hand.
Right.
I mean, if you figure there's 4 or 5 hands this guy's going to make a move with, it's one less hand that he probably has.
Now, kings is even easier at this level because you're never going to be several thousands of dollars deep.
Well, it's just
You know.
the problem is rarely are the players deep enough to get the information you want. If
Right.
you've got if you've got $6,000 or $7,000, and I'll get to this point in a second.
The pot was limped around here 5 ways.
Well, a nice flop for King Jack of diamonds, huh?
Yeah, look at that, open-ended with a flush draw.
No, open-ended, straight flush draw.
Yeah. And Ubi's got a queen jack over there in seat 6.
20,
And Peter's going to bet 20 right into it.
60.
And look at this. Queen jack is going to raise. He's going to make it 60. And boy, King Jack of diamonds, his hand's almost big enough to push in right now, Dave, right?
Yes. Well, I mean, definitely raise. His hand's huge. And he has even more outs than he even thinks of. He's got any ace, any 9, any diamond.
Well,
or
there's an
king.
ace. He just called the flop. He did not re-raise.
And the problem with doing that is you might not get the action you're looking for. Let's see.
Well, he's checked the straight. And seat 6 is going to bet.
Wow.
He's going to bet $110 here. And let's see how Peter plays it. I mean, he has the absolute nut here and a redraw to the second nut flush.
And a straight flush. I mean, he's got
Yeah.
invincible hand.
I mean, and he's going to check raise all in here, Dave.
Well, he almost has to. He's out of position. What's he going to do? Then bet the river?
And like you said, it's almost because he played it that way.
All in, all in.
Seat 6 might not call here because he can't beat the ace, right?
Exactly.
And it was a bit of an action
Can't beat
killer.
much, to be honest with you. I mean, Ubenzi is actually drawing to a chop. If a king comes out, they will chop it up. That's the best Peter can. That's the best Ubenzi can hope for, though.
Yep. I want to say and he makes the call, Dave.
Wow.
He makes the call for another, I want to say, $220.
Someone's got jack.
And the river is a 9, and Peter makes a straight all the way around.
Yeah.
8 to ace. And
Well, interestingly enough, Ubenzi actually made a straight there too.
You were opening.
that's
Queen
right
high straight, though.
with his jack.
Yeah,
right.
queen high straight, which is obviously no good.
I got cheater for this hand.
Now back to the other point where we're talking about queens or jacks in terms of moving in. If you're playing in a really deep game where you've got $4,000 or $5,000, you raise it up to 100. Okay, the other guy makes it 300. Now you look down at your queens and you want to get information. You can make it 900 to go or 800 to go. Now if this guy then moves all in or raises it up to 2,000, well then you can get away from it,
Right.
Because you've gotten a little more information. But in this game, more often than not, you just pot committed yourself because you're just not deep enough.
Yeah.
Nut straight.
Not the not diamond. No, the ace high comes out. Yeah.
I'm going to limp in.
And again, like you said, it's just the nature of restricted bind games. That usually you're just not going to be deep enough, to make those types of moves where you can get the information, say, in a 10-20 no limit game when you've got $10,000 on the table.
Oh, exactly, right.
We've
It's the same thing you can do, like if you're playing in the World Series of Poker and you've each got 20,000 in chips.
Right.
You can do that, but if you play in a small no-limit tournament, you're not getting away from queens,
Right.
kings. There's no way.
Now, we got a raise here pre-flop by, I believe it was seat 6. He just rebought, Dave, I believe, for either 200 or 300. So
Well,
he
nice
raised it
flop
with
for him
king
there.
queen.
He's out-flopped Karosh and Kerry.
Yep, king 6-6.
You know it, man.
I think it's about an $80 pot, and he's going to bet the pot. He bets 80. You can actually rebuy in this game back up to 300 when you go to Felt. I don't think that he's going to get a call here, Dave.
Yeah, pretty straightforward play. I mean, he bets when he has it. He calls when he's got a pair or a draw. Hey, I did want to actually compliment you. Saturday night we were here. We were watching the World Poker Tour Ladies Night. You did a fine job.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, you couldn't really. I mean, I was actually watching the show very intently.
Were you really?
With the audio.
What a surprise.
With the audio up, and they would cut in like sometimes when you'd see the river, like they'd have either Linda or me saying, "Let's see the river." But it seemed like she was on a bit more than me, which she actually told me beforehand they tend to do with ladies' nights. But there's another episode that I'm on as well, which will come later on in the season.
Oh, great.
So,
well, you'll have to let me know when we can plug that one for
I
you.
don't remember it saying, I bought it last week, but I don't remember it saying that it was going to re-up automatically.
If the people on 2+2 thread can update me on the Jets game, I'd appreciate that.
oh, you want to do that? I thought we were keeping that out.
No, I'm not watching it.
Okay. Well, all I want to do
I
is
wouldn't torture myself in TiVo.
I just want to keep my sanity so that in 2 weeks I don't know the score of the
Okay.
Indy Patriots game.
I got you. That's fair enough.
8-7-4 here. Rainbow. It got limped around.
Yeah, Ubenzi's got top pair.
And he's going to bet 20. This is about the size of the pot.
Believe it.
Believe it. Many misses.
What's up, man?
And these guys that went down to Felt, Dave, it looks like they only brought it back up to 200. I would think that I would have. Why not buy 300 with all this money at the table?
Without a doubt. A game like this, to be honest with you, I'd probably gamble it up my first 200,
Yeah.
especially with this much money on the table. If I double up, great. If I don't, then I'll buy in for 300 and start playing some real poker.
I think that this is actually, in essence, too, if you've got people who are loose at the table, a tight player's dream when you've got a lot of money at the table and the blinds are so small in relative size to the chip stacks,
It's, I mean, that's why
3-5 blinds.
this game is a dream.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can get your stack up to about $600 or $700, you can very quickly turn that into a $2,000 stack if things go right for you.
What? Here, give me Gator.
Got a couple limpers here.
Ace King for Pablo.
Might be in the hand.
All right.
And Pablo limped in under the gun, thinking maybe he'd get a little limp and re-raise.
Maybe. He had Ace King. He's got Ace King suited. We've got 8 players in the pot. Well, King, Jack, 10, couple diamonds. Albie's got the nut flush draw over there in seat 7. It looks like Ace King is good here, Dave, but I mean it's an unraised pot. Is Ace King of Spades looking that good right now against 7 players?
Yeah, we know it is, but
Yeah.
hard for him to know that.
He bets the pot $40. Albie's gonna call. Of course, Albie has a gut shot. If he hits the queen, he's got the ace high straight.
Right. And they'll chop it up then.
And the action's over to Peter, who's got top pair and a gut shot as well. And he's going to make the call.
Now, Peter's got to get away from that, especially when Albie calls from between.
$160 pot now. Turns
Because
to 4.
even though Peter's got the gut shot, he can't think if the queen hits, it's any good. Right?
Right.
Let's go.
And let's see what Pablo does here.
Now, at this point, the pot is...
160, and he's going to bet 200 here.
There you go.
And again, you
Actually, he only bet 100.
Oh,
He bet 100 into
okay.
$160 pot.
Okay.
What have we done?
So Albie's got $260 pot, 100 to call, right?
You know it's being televised.
That's right.
He's getting 2.6 to 1 on his money.
Playing with
And he's going to get away from it there, Dave.
It's an action figure.
What do you think Judo would say?
I mean, obviously, if the queen comes, you figure, well, you're at least a chop, right? You could possibly win if
Right.
someone else isn't in there with an ace.
And Peter is in bad shape here. See, Peter's got to know he can't be in there because of the 9 hits. I mean, he can only beat a bluff pretty much because of a 9 hits. It gives anybody with a queen a straight.
Down goes Jeter.
And he's going to
Yeah,
That's not very nice. Come on now.
good muck there.
I did get word that my name was actually in the credits as well, Dave.
Wow.
But my TiVo cut the end of the show off, so I didn't get to see it.
Bastards! God. Hey, Bart, are you thinking of that perfect Christmas gift for that perfect poker player in your life? Give the gift that keeps on giving. A monthly subscription to Live at the Bike. Just write to us at www.liveatthebike.com and we'll contact you to set up a month subscription for that lucky someone. So Bart, if you weren't sure what to give me, you know it's number 1 on my list.
There's a commercial, and they changed the outcome. It's incredible commercial. It's amazing.
Oh, that was very, very good product
Kind of
placement.
like the burger commercial. You guys got
Yeah. You just have to do it a little cleaner next time.
I know. I was laughing while I was
What happened to
reading
those
it.
broadcast copy classes you took in
It's
college?
terrible, seriously. All those public speaking courses? They're really awful.
It's not very effective advertising.
We see Nate raised here with, looks like an ace rag suit, and he took it down. No one took the flop.
Great commercial, but horrible marketing.
But it's pretty incredible the way they do it. It really is.
Oh yeah,
They show.
And if you actually watched the, it's interesting for me to have been on the floor and see all the action.
Are we still talking about that?
Well, it's a little bit different, but then to actually go back and see the cards. Because Jennifer Tilly was actually kind of running over the table. A lot of times she didn't have, premium holdings, but she was just playing aggressive and ended up winning.
Well, she's got a good coach, huh?
Yeah. And it's interesting that apparently Phil Locke, we've gotten word from players that we respect that have played with him in cash games, is not only a good tournament player, but a very good no-limit cash player as well.
I hear he's a phenomenal cash player.
Yeah.
You know what?
And Carrie is going to raise here with pocket 9s. She makes it 20 to go out of seat 1.
This might have been the outcome.
And Ubenza's going to call there.
Now's the good commercial.
They'll shoot a connector. Kurosh's got diamonds as well, so he's in trouble if they come, and he makes the call.
Michael Vick experience.
Oh.
That's Pepsi, isn't it?
Well, King 7-4.
Wow. You do watch a lot of TV.
No, I'm just.
Now, Kurosh made a move on Kerry last time. Let's see if he does it again.
But last time Kurosh did have a pair. He had pocket deuces. And he's going to fold this time.
All right.
Not a great flop for 3-5.
Yeah.
Did have a gut shot, I guess, to the 6 there. But he had diamonds.
Where this one guy gets touched, and all of a sudden everyone in New York just starts running away from him.
Oh yeah,
That was the best commercial.
Those are the good ones. Like, remember that one where like Sampras and Agassi like start playing tennis in the middle of Times Square? Those are.
Remember Flop Flop Christmas?
That I don't remember.
Data.
Hey,
I
yeah.
remember Jordan and Bird.
Couldn't hurt off the backboard, too.
Nothing but net.
It was Alka-Seltzer.
The Mickey D's commercial.
So the button moves over to seat 4.
Flop Flop Fizz Fizz was popular when I was a little girl. It was Alka-Seltzer.
There's Pablo in seat 4.
Before
Close
I
up of him there.
And then
He's on the button.
Back then when Alka-Seltzer and indigestion was.
And he's going to lay it down.
It was something that put food with
4 ways, 5 ways actually. Limped around. $25 pot.
5 players.
3
All
flush
diamonds.
with an ace, yeah. There it is, Ace Jack 3.
This is one of those, whoever bets is going to take it down, I bet.
Very difficult to call, obviously, without a high ace or, high diamond, right?
Jack 8 is still good, and that is actually Gus.
I guess I
You
can't.
can't really check raise. If I check, you
Ace
don't
Jack
need to
3
do this.
ace here on the board.
I can
3
raise.
diamonds.
You can raise.
And Gus is actually,
Go ahead and raise.
he's going to bet.
5 red cards.
I like the bet. He didn't bet the flop, but once the turn comes out, he goes, you know what, I'm going to bet this. I don't want to give anybody a free diamond.
Yeah. And, the ace pairing means it's got less of a chance that anyone has it. And look at this. Ubenz is going to call with the jack, but with the 5 of diamonds, and there's the diamond at the end.
Yeah, you do. Check. If you got one, you win.
And he's going to take it down.
And you hear Gus actually said, he said, well, now you got it.
Well, it's interesting, if the guy called you on the turn and then the river comes diamond and he checked to you, could you possibly bet him off the hand? Obviously, he's not too comfortable with his hand if he checks it to you on the river there.
Right.
But I guess Gus just wanted to win it there in a showdown.
But you got to wonder, though, is he not comfortable with it, like, Does he have a 10 of diamonds?
Right.
You know, the queen of diamonds, maybe? Like, not the nuts, pretty much.
I just wonder if Gus had bet there. I mean, we can see that the guy only had the 5 of diamonds, how much he would have called on the river.
Jeter, wrong game.
Yeah, but I have the jack on.
He's
Not
bobbling.
playing blackjack. Okay. There, send Jeter back.
And we got some high Broadway
Yeah,
cards
if
here.
it doesn't hit, I beat you. I had the jack on.
Ice is going to raise here. This is the first time we've seen him really play in a hand, Dave. He's the big stack at the table.
Who gave him the nickname Vice?
Derek, what
I think he did himself.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah.
I rarely give any credence to somebody who gives themselves a nickname.
And as we see, Albie quickly folds ace-10 in the big blind. Boy, you'd think that it would be really positive expectation to attack his blind every hand. Because the
Derek,
chances that he's going to
get
fold
up on
are
your
in
perch,
the high
my son.
90s.
And if
Each
he
time.
calls and he checks to you,
Look at what
he's
all
probably going to fold another 80% of the time.
No, this is where it's
How did he actually? Albie's got like $800. How did he get that?
the Derek's top tier.
I don't know.
Oh, Derek.
I'm sorry. Sitting here doing all this stuff. 15.
Place to play.
Got a $15 raise here by Carrie. She's got ace-7 suited.
We're gonna
And Brian Ice in seat 5, he's got big slick suited. He's going to re-raise.
Me and
I
Derek.
can't. I laugh every time you say it. I can't even say it.
Derek,
Nice.
what have you done, my son?
He makes it 75 to go.
Derek.
And Albie folded the ace jack, right?
Yeah, but look at this. Carrie quickly calls. And Dave, chances are an ace is not going to hit here.
Now he has position on her. The button is in seat 6, right?
Yeah,
He wasn't supposed to call Derek.
and it comes 10-10 queen. So it's about a $150 pot. Carrie checks.
Derek and I are all in.
Brian has overcards and a gut shot. And I think he said Eric and I are all in, which I think is the bobblehead's name. Oh, it's Derek. It's Derek. Okay, it's a Derek Jeter doll. There, Dave.
Welcome.
And he moves all in and he takes it
No, I
down.
think you're right. That isn't a
Was he actually moving Derek in as well?
Yes, he said Derek and I are all in.
Derek and I are all in.
Lines, please.
Wow.
No, if it was a little bobblehead.
Well, it's good that he's not superstitious or anything.
A little bobble.
And obviously, when he says he's all in, he's not really all in. He just sees her stack and he goes, "Well, she's only got $120 left, so we're all in."
My own action.
I know.
You see
It's
it.
an action figure. I know. Action figure. Action
Let's
figure.
see, what are we going to do, Derek?
Hold it.
So
Derek says flawed.
Button now is in seat number 7, Albie.
I guess with our pocket pair there.
There you go. But actually, in seriousness here, Live at the Bike subscription is actually a pretty cool gift.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're thinking about getting it yourself, and oh, there we are. If you're thinking about getting it yourself, $14.95. You let somebody know what it is, you want it, and why not?
Great little Christmas gift.
Oh yeah, I mean it's better than getting some like ugly sweater
Right,
or
right.
some pair of pants you're just going to return anyway.
Well, how about getting like a newcomer, maybe a poker book as well as a subscription to the archives?
Well, yeah, well, poker's hot right now. Why
Right.
not? You know, you can kind of integrate the whole thing.
Baby. Oh,
Make kind of a poker gift, huh? Give them a set of chips. Give them a book. Subscription to the archives. They're set.
Careful now. I think you just want to.
Oh, Albie's got 6-9 suited in the cutoff, and I think he actually limped in there, Dave. Wow.
so,
All right. I'm gonna take your word for it.
Gus has got pocket deuces on the button, and he's going to come in.
Hiccup
Can
man's
you pass
back.
me Derek, please? I'm
No,
gonna try Derek.
I'm sorry, Derek is.
And Dave, Gus put in those blue chips there to make the call, and you
Yeah, Derek is
tend to
not
have a theory about that, right? As the flop comes up, Jack, Jack 10.
People get rid of their small chips because they don't like their hand. They're throwing away money. It's like, I want to get rid of my small chips.
Yeah.
He was putting your care.
It's an unconscious, it's really an unconscious, or subconscious, not unconscious, thank you, subconscious kind of tell that they're not real happy about their hand.
Well, he actually has the best hand
Was
here.
it was it calling it in? Or
And it got checked to him, and he bet with pocket deuces, and he takes it down.
Well, that's the way to play position, you know?
You're making me money. You're making me money. I'm gonna have to hire you.
Now, this is actually a cool point I'm going to hit tonight. Do you have a home game that you'd like to bring to the bike? Why don't you
Very
write to
interesting.
us
Yeah.
at liveatthebike.com and give us your contact information, and if we think you're cool, we'll arrange a night to remember for you and all your friends and family. you too can be treated like royalty, only at the bike.
Now, does that actually involve maybe getting that home game one time out live at the bike, or is that is that a possibility?
That's
If it's
definitely
at
a possibility.
high enough stakes.
Definitely. If you've got a really cool home game that you want to bring to the bike, email us, let us know what the game is. Come to the bike, we can set it up for you. Maybe we'll put you on live at the bike.
Have we ever had hiccups on live at the bike?
But we can definitely put you at a table. Your own private table, that is.
No, we are.
I always think it's better, especially, it just takes a lot of the effort out of it, Dave. You can come down here, get some food, get some drink, have professional dealers.
Well, it's actually really worth it. Yeah.
Pot is limped around here, and look at Carrie. She's flopped a full house.
Unfortunately for her, nobody's got anything.
Eric and I limp. We can't bet.
And she checks it. Turns a 9, and now Albie has top pair.
I got to be honest, I don't mind that check.
And
You?
and Brian is now going to bet as a bluff. He bets 35.
Especially at a passive table like this.
Albie's not going to get involved with the 9. And Carrie's just going to call. Well, she is in position. And the river is a 9.
Wow, what a bad beat.
Oh, that's a horrible card for Carrie. But Brian checks and Carrie bets.
Albie
and,
would have won the hand if
yeah.
he stayed in.
Oh,
That would have been.
wow.
I actually thought Albie stayed in for a second because I was like, wow, what a terrible beat that.
I mean,
would've been.
sometimes, if Brian had actually come out and fired again,
You have to do it twice.
it's not unreasonable that Carrie might have folded there. I
opposite end.
mean, that is
Yeah.
just about the worst card you could possibly see at the river.
Oh, dear.
He was like totally fine, and then he said
Did you want
and got
insert?
him again.
No, he went away to try to
25 to get in.
try to stop.
25.
Go.
And I wasn't gonna let him.
Make it 25, don't worry.
That's like I've had a lot of home poker games in my life, and generally it becomes a problem because nobody can deal. We all get too drunk to deal eventually. I mean, we're having a good time,
just-
but to me sometimes it works better if you got a professional dealer.
Option.
And you think it's October, right? So
Make it 20.
I mean, sometimes the best thing you can do is actually hire a professional dealer and bring them to your house. But hey, cut that out and just come to the casino.
Yeah, but there's no shuffle machine, though. Here we get shuffle machines.
And drinks. And TVs. And food.
$20 raise here. But I believe it was seat 8, and Carrie called with a weak ace on the button. And the flop misses everyone, but the turn,
You have to bet?
both players have an ace.
Okay. Oh, you have to bet.
I'll show you.
I'll show you.
Wow, that's a burn and
bet,
turn.
go ahead, but
Show him the weak ace. Weak ace.
What's your kicker?
Well, what happened here? I think that Karosh meant to bet on the flop.
Sorry. I don't think that's
Well, maybe, excuse me, maybe he bet on the turn and then just Carrie just folded.
Yeah, it's hard for her to call there, isn't it?
Yeah.
You had a weak ace.
I mean, look at that flop. Ace, queen, any jack is a straight. I mean, that's impossible to call that.
I should have went all in. I should have went all in.
Big blind, Derek.
Well, it's tough sometimes, we don't usually condone calling raises with the ace rag, especially offsuit, Dave.
Yeah.
Now, Karosh has been raising a lot of pots, so, you might think you had the best hand, but why not re-raise at that
Yeah,
point?
exactly. Repop them then.
Grab it.
Right.
Take control of the hands.
Oh, oh, I knocked him over.
And Albie limps in. What does he got?
25.
8-9 suited.
Dude, you're like.
Well, he'll
you're
limp
right
in
on
with a
the
lot of
tire.
stuff and then
No.
just fold to any raise.
Well, Karosh raises to 25. He's got, or 20. He's got king, queen offsuit.
There you go.
And it is actually 25. And Carrie calls with ace 10 offsuit. So it's a $75 pot if Albie calls.
How much you got there?
And he's going to make the call.
Wow.
Mark this one down.
I know. Albie's in a hand.
Yeah. So three-way action here. Ace, deuce, 4. Carrie's got top pair.
20.
And it just gets checked to her.
You got any more than $100?
And she
gift
bets.
cards?
card I didn't want to see.
And Karosh mucks.
Yeah, you got any more than just that one?
Four.
You got 2 total?
Good enough.
I'm getting word that the Atlanta Falcons have already scored 7 points, which is obviously more than the Jets will score tonight already, so game's over.
It's interesting that Teddy Bruschi is now practicing with the Patriots and that they might even expect him in the lineup
Hold my breath.
on Sunday.
Every time.
It's kind of scary.
Hold it as long as I can.
Well, I mean, you don't think
Guy
that
has
he's
a
taking
stroke
the,
like 6 months ago and then he's playing.
well, you don't think he's taking the necessary medical precautions to.
And her husband.
I just think that he must have been through all kinds of things to have the, at least the team
Right.
sign
It's
off.
just
on
never
his
happened
play.
before, so
Painful. You know,
there's no precedent.
you're asking what the medical causes hiccup?
It's your esophagus, it's your diaphragm and your lungs.
Pot's
like
been
they're
limped
out of
around
sync,
here.
they hit against each other. Is that what it
I thought it was the pyloric.
I mean, the only scary thing to me is, listen, this is all for this point at you, and I'll just leave it alone, is that the Patriots were 6-0
5 more.
and had no middle linebacker problems. You think Teddy Bruschi would be rushing back?
Yeah.
That's straight out of high school.
Look at this. Ben's going to raise out of the big blind with ace-7, and he's going to take it down. Albie Mux with the suited connector, and Groshmuk's the weak ace. Now, it's interesting, like you said, Albie will limp in with a lot of hands. You know, limping in with 8-9 suited under the gun in a no-limit game isn't something I usually do, Dave, because usually that hand can't really take a raise, and you're going to be out of position the rest of the way.
Yeah, well, that's exactly. You don't want to, if you flop some sort of draw,
Right.
you've got to play it out of position, which is really hard.
No.
But it's tough enough to play drawing hands in no limit in position.
Like I'm a marketer street. Like I believe everything I see on TV.
All right. True poker player. There you go.
And we got an ace-king here for Al. He's going to make it 45 to go in seat 2.
Wow, look at this email we're getting here. Sensational revolution in medicine. You can enlarge your penis up to 10 centimeters or up to 4 inches. Wow.
Even live at the bike email is not
Amazing.
totally.
Me love you long
No, even we get spam.
Even
huh?
we get spam. Yeah. Totally immune to spam. Al's going to take it down.
Thank you.
I didn't even know Al was playing in the game.
Well, first pot he's entered. Wasn't he wearing that shirt the last time he was on the show? Didn't this guy just win a $20,000 jackpot? I mean,
He's
the
actually
same
been-
shirt and the same hat.
He's actually been running pretty bad since then.
Oh, really?
I've been watching.
Suited, too.
Was suited too?
It's all right.
How bad is it to have to set up on
Armani Exchange, DKNY.
Hey, you know what? I'll do it for you. Can we have a setup?
What?
Once again, we are live at the bike, folks. My name is David Tuckman. I'm here with Bart Hansen. We're playing No Limit Hold'em. Blinds are 3 and 5.
He wants to get his TV time too.
We don't want TV time.
What are you advertising? I'm advertising TV.
What is he, Phil Hellmuth?
Derek Jeter. Yeah, we're going to definitely need a
You
setup.
can't see it anymore, can you?
And I think some of the people are still having fun with Ice's Derek Jeter doll there on the table.
Trying to get your camera set up too?
6 players.
It's good practice.
And we've got
for-
6-way action here limped around.
For next year.
Queen 8-3, a couple of diamonds. Al's got the nut flush draw over there in seat 2.
$6.
6?
And he bet $6.
He's also got a gut shot, doesn't he?
With the ace-6.
Oh,
It's actually 10.
Why?
Not sick. Why?
It's a third, and seat 6 is going to bet 35 here with his
Oh, I'm
flush
sorry.
on a
With
pair.
Ben's, he's got the flush draw with the pair.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he actually raised Al,
Oh, I got Jeter. I got a call.
and Al's going to make the call.
You guys didn't even know who that
So if
was.
diamonds comes here,
That's true.
turns at 9.
Number 2.
One player.
But I'm like,
Pot's about
One
$100.
player
And it goes check, check. And the river is a 7.
Go ahead.
Wow.
And
The
I
Benz
think
is
they're
still
just gonna,
good.
Yeah, they're just going to check it down.
Does it fade?
Maybe it's not Brian's Jeter. Maybe it's Peter in seat 3. Maybe it's his doll. An action figure, I'm sorry.
I'm not playing with Jeter no more.
The question is he a Hall of Famer?
No.
Did you used to play with dolls when you were little, Dave?
Dolls?
Yeah.
No, I didn't play with dolls.
Yeah.
Why, did you play with dolls?
My Buddy? Did you have a My Buddy when you were little?
No. Did not have My Buddy. My Buddy?
You don't remember My Buddy?
No. Did you have dolls?
I didn't have dolls.
I mean, did you have like Cabbage Patch dolls and stuff?
Hall of Ambassadors of the
I actually had a hockey Cabbage Patch doll. My dad got me a Wayne Gretzky Cabbage Patch doll, 99 and everything. It was really cool.
Honestly, I wouldn't have as much of a problem with it if
Button is in.
I think it was kind of an ego thing because at the time everybody wanted a Cabbage Patch, so my dad wanted to just prove that he could go buy one and find one.
I don't support him either, bro.
That's got nothing to do with the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
And all of the alleged gambling took place after he was done as a player. And you go
When he
into the
was
Hall of
managing
Fame,
and having more control
it
over
doesn't
it.
matter.
Limp,
The Hall
limp.
of Fame has nothing to
I
do.
don't feel passionately enough to argue about
I
it.
think Albie is on
I
the
do.
hook.
I'm glad you don't.
And we're going to see it
Very, very glad.
6 ways. $30
The Hall
pot.
of Fame is a joke until he's in there.
8, 7, 5, couple spades.
No spades?
Brian is still in the lead here?
Well, it looks like
threes?
Gus has got Queen 5.
Queen 5, thank you.
Yeah,
Didn't see
and
that
he's
over
gonna
there.
bet. He bets $20. And Brian calls.
Yeah, Brian's in bad shape here.
Roche is out.
Unless he sets up a play here. You think he's setting up a play?
Well, we'll see. Well, the turn's a 6.
Next card's a 9.
And it's a 4-liner to a straight, and it goes check, check, and the river's a 6.
Even better.
Queen 5 is good.
I mean, you're going to call it pocket threes.
Everything.
Can't you represent a spade here? And he is going to bet
Okay,
now.
good. I mean, it represents something here.
And there isn't a whole lot that Gus can beat out there.
60.
I mean, in essence, he has bottom pair.
Yeah, he can only beat pretty much, you know.
Unbelievable.
And I'm trying to think of a hand the guy might call with. I mean,
Right.
literally, pocket threes is probably it.
Right.
I don't think he would have bet 60. But 60.
I'm about 360.
You know what I had, actually? I used to have, like, the Star Wars action figures. Like a Darth Vader, Han Solo.
We actually learned about that when I was in Syracuse in my film management class. George Lucas, where he got all of his wealth from, was he pretty much invented taking in ancillary rights.
Right.
And as we take a look at another chip count here, Brian, he's down a little bit. Gus is up over 1,000. Peter's at 1,000. I mean, basically, like, he was like, I'm going to take less money for my movie, but I want all of the rights to have, like, action figures. So,
Right.
and no one knew what that was. I'm like, okay, here
Sure,
you go.
you can have it. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not stupid.
Running out of
Yeah.
ammo, buddy.
And boy, was that a good business move, huh?
Yeah,
I mean, they're still
I'm sure
selling Star Wars stuff.
I was among many kids. We would have like our little lightsaber wars
Right.
in our neighborhood. You know, we'd all fight over who we were going to be. I'm Han Solo. I'm Luke Skywalker. You know.
Been here for 62 million hours.
Got a raise there by Karosh with King 10, and Brian is called. And Brian has outflopped Karosh.
Check?
He did have the best hand.
You don't have anything either.
And it goes check, check. And now the turn is an ace of diamonds. Now Karosh has the nut flush draw. Check, check again.
Wow.
The river's a 9.
Brian's got the best hand there.
I got king.
And just going to get checked down.
I think Brian might have been looking for the old check raise on the flop. And then when the ace came, he
Yeah.
kind of got scared.
Just kept getting worse and worse for him. Third
Yeah.
diamond, ace.
Let's get the jackpot.
I told you, I used to be into garbage
How
pail
much is
kids.
the jackpot?
Garbage pail kids?
$8.6
$11,000. American? Is it really?
Oh, American.
And then I know, well, not so recently, actually. I guess the last, like, 10, 12 years, it's pretty much all been cards, right?
How big was your king?
What, like,
Like Yu-Gi-Oh! And all these different,
yeah,
like,
well,
card games.
games,
Like
yeah.
Magic, the
Magic
card
the
game.
Gathering.
Yeah, all that stuff.
They were doing it 40 and then it got hit too many times.
Well, that's where a lot of these young poker players come out of that scene. Because I guess that they were good card players and it somehow helped them to translate to poker.
I guess so, hey.
Raise, make it 30.
500 all that.
And Ubenza there is going to raise. He's got ace king offsuit. He makes it 30 to go. And Albie calls with queen jack suited. Wow. And here we go.
He's got live cards.
Well, probably a bet and a fold here if Ub bets here. And he's going to bet.
40.
And that's the perfect way to play Albie. Put a small little bet in there, have him call, and then take it down.
Yeah, I got to say, I mean, we sometimes criticize Dr. Beebe, who's often on the big no limit games, as being a little bit tight, but we actually have seen him make moves. Like, it wouldn't be totally out of the realm of possibility for him to raise a flop like that against somebody who will lay it down. But I've never seen Albie make a move.
I mean, in the end, you know, you and I, no, I've never seen him make a move.
Yeah.
In the end, you and I can criticize Dr. Beebe or Albie.
Right.
But playing against the competition that they play against, players like Jesus and players like Ed and players like that are traditionally in our $200 game for Albie, these are players that you don't have to mix it up against.
Right.
You know? You can play it 100% straightforward, wait till you hit something, and people still pay you off because they're not paying attention to the way you're playing.
Oh, Brian's going to bring this one in for a raise. Jack 5 suited. Seat 5.
25.
And Al's going to call. It doesn't really look like he has that much, though, Dave. the suited connector. Usually you need to have, you know, pretty decent stack to make that call.
Does he have any purples under that?
Yeah, maybe he's got a couple purples. And Al bet.
Oh, maybe that's why he did it. He was just making a move.
He bet, and he actually had the best hand on the flop. Took it down.
So Mr. Greystoke, he's got Derek Jeter doll.
There it is.
It's worth it though. It's a $200 pot. I get someone to take it.
Almost looks like a. There you go. What's on the back of his hat?
You gotta know everybody's weaknesses.
Is that the bobble part?
I'm gonna get over my
I don't know if that's
purple
technically a bobble
eye. I'm gonna
doll
call those bets
or what.
No, you're not, because I'm gonna bring up Barney and you're gonna get all scared.
I think those bobble dolls
I'll even
kind
sing
of
the
bounce
song.
around.
Okay.
You know the song that scares me.
Ace Queen offsuit here for Kerry in the cutoff.
All right, let's try
Is
that.
that a chick magnet if I know the
Yes,
Barney
the
song?
Barney song.
Bro, I'm staying on this side of the table. That's all I'm saying.
Doesn't look like there's
You're
a whole
not
lot
securing
else
your
out
manhood,
here from this
sir.
end.
If you can't sing the Barney song, you want to sing it. Oh, you want to sing it.
Let's see it.
Oh, yes.
And she does not raise, Dave. It's going to be limped around 5 ways.
Singing to you guys.
Yeah.
5, 6, 3, a couple diamonds.
Get the house.
Yeah, I don't understand the play of Ace Queen in position. Out of position, I understand it, but if you're in position, why not take control of it?
Brian bets out here with top pair, 6 deuce, and Albie calls with the flush draw. And there you go, Dave. Look at this. Kerry played it slow pre-flop, and now she's going to take one off with a black ace queen on this flop. Just doesn't make a whole lot of sense, right?
Yeah, no. I mean, if you're going to play it that way, then get away from it.
Yeah. Turn is a 5.
Well, that's not a scary card, really.
Brian bets 20. Albie calls. And we're heads up. Albie's got overcards on a flush draw.
I can't.
And the river is a 4, and that gives Brian a straight. And it just gets checked
I
down.
had him anyway, I think.
And again, it's just one of those times when sometimes if you had such a tight reputation like Albie,
Oh,
you might even be able to bet the river there and get somebody who has a deuce off of the hand. But we just never seen him do it
Right.
when it gets
See,
checked
the
to him.
problem is those
It's like
against players that are paying attention. If Albie raised you on the river, yeah, you'd throw it away. The problem is the players in this game, they're not even paying attention. They're not focused on the fact that Albie is a really tight player. They don't know it. They don't care. They're only playing their own 2 cards. I mean, I've seen time and time again. You see some guy who hasn't played a hand for 2 hours, then he comes in for a raise, and he gets called in 4 spots.
Oh.
You know, you're wondering if these guys are even watching the game.
We got bobblehead dolls over there. Barney. Quotes from Dumb and Dumber.
His heads are falling
Dumb and
off.
Said quotes from Dumb and
See,
Dumber.
9, you know, he looks like he's got,
Oh, we are.
you know, from that last chip count, he's second. It'd be interesting to see him might go, you know, head to head with seat 5.
Well, he doubled up with those queens.
Yeah.
Got aces and then queens back to back. Made some good money.
Pot is limped around here. $20 pot.
I need a. Yeah.
8-7-3. Looks like Brian's got top and bottom, Dave. He's going to bet.
Well, nobody raised, and here's the blinds.
Oh, let's see if Gus gets involved here with ace-7.
You know what? When in an unraised pot and the blind bets this kind of flop, he could have anything.
I know you have a pair of sevens.
Why get
No, I have
involved?
a pair of. I have 8-3.
And he just called his hand out, Dave.
We got the same hand.
Gus said, I know you have a pair of 7s. And Brian said, no, I have 8-3.
Right. I don't want to. You got 2 pairs.
He's telling him again, I got 2 pair.
But I don't want to call her. Go away.
Enough money in the pot.
Well, sometimes that actually works. People never believe you.
Let's see if he shows it.
I had 8-3. I wasn't sure.
Yep.
I told you what I had.
I believed you.
I showed you.
Kind of poker player you want to play against, huh?
Right.
Hey, another perfect Christmas gift, by the way. Not only can you get a subscription to Live at the Bike, but you can get other Live at the Bike material. I mean, like, you can get a Bart Hansen bobblehead.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Isaac bobbleheads. Without a doubt.
I got paid off with 8.
Lingerie, you know, designed by Donna.
But oh, it could have been more.
It could have been.
Just go to liveatthebike.com and you can check it all out. I love it.
How about some bombshell model dolls?
There you go.
There you go.
Just slide it right under your
Little Barbie figures.
Live at the Bike hats.
Yeah.
much is in a pot? Nothing, right?
Button has got ace queen.
T-shirts. You can be the first one in your town to have a Live at the Bike T-shirt. Okay.
Pablo's going to make it 20 to go.
Now there's something, huh?
I'm going to raise.
Yeah, you are.
And look at this. Brian's going to come over the top of him with 6-9 suited. I knew Brian wasn't going to be staying quiet for this long, Dave.
Well, he really can push around the table when he's got this much money, you know.
So raise to 20 by Pablo. And Carrie's going to call the raise and the re-raise with Jack 7. She doesn't have that much.
She's snatching Derek.
And let's see what Pablo does here.
She's got Derek Jeter.
What'd she do?
Maybe she asked him what to do.
Yes, 40 more.
What'd she do?
Well, he's going to call.
Ace man.
So three-way action, $180 pot.
How do you like your hand now, if you're Brian?
I think I was a little bit too young to see that.
Ace Queen 7. Pablo's hit 2 pair. Top 2 pair.
What is Carrie doing in there?
I checked it. I think someone's going to bet it.
And Brian does not bet.
Well, you know, if you raise, and then an ace falls, that is kind of scary if you get called in 2 spots.
Right. Look at this. Carrie's betting 30.
I don't know if I can bluff her out of
With
there.
bottom pair. Pablo's got top 2. Let's see how he plays
You
it.
smooth call and keep Brian in, maybe? I mean, obviously, we know he can't be kept in.
Oh, that's what he's going to do. He does smooth call. And where he heads up. $240 pot going to the turn. The turn is a 6.
Check.
Terry checks.
Oh. I smell it. It's weakness.
Again, and he's going to bet 75 into a $240 pot.
He could have played it a little tricky. He could have checked there.
I figure, but
Like, I can't imagine her calling this.
75.
Is she really?
True.
No.
Why I said they're making count all of it.
She's not going to call.
No, she's gonna,
Oh, my.
Pablo takes it down.
Wow, and the river would have been a 7.
Wow, that would have been brutal.
Now, see, I would have actually trapped myself there. I would have really, cause I might have gotten tricky, slow played it one more time, and then watch 7 turns on the river, and I'd lose all my money.
You have to understand, though, if you're going to make that play, you've got to be up against, like you said. I mean, you're trying to induce a bluff, but you're not going to make that play against someone like Albie, who's not going to really bet into you on the river with nothing anyways.
Oh, without a doubt.
So I don't know if Carrie's the type of player that she's going to bet the river if you check behind her.
Yeah, but she might be induced to call if you check the turn. She might think
Call
you're
a bet on
bluffing.
the river?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me get you some food, dude. I got it come. No, I got to come.
Limp.
There you go, darling.
I got all confused.
You have to act fast and yelling at
Oh, down goes Jeter.
That's right, Jeter.
Down goes Jeter.
6 pair.
Yeah, we've got 6-way action. Limp to red. $30 pot. Ace Jack 6. There you go. Brian's got top pair. And he's going to bet.
Bet 40. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't go out.
As long as he bets his good hands as well as his bad hands, Steve, works to his advantage.
Here's the board. Oh, wow.
I thought you were going all in there for a
That's
minute.
7.
It doesn't look like anyone can call here. Pablo's got second pair,
Yeah, but I had an ace.
and he's not going to get involved.
Take it down, Brian. Don't show, though, Brian.
Showed the ace.
Stop showing your cards.
Let me put this together here. Yeah, can I?
Are you leaving? No, you're just calling. Peter works
So
with
quick to steal Jeter. And the food.
Yellow chips are $5 chips. Blues are $1 chips. Purples are 25, and whites are 100s.
So we had a free roll on Saturday afternoon. Who won? Do you know?
Not off the top of my head.
No?
But the point was, it was a free roll, and you qualified for playing in the free roll by playing on the bike's free website at thebike.com. So
Well, they have a
check it out.
new play for free website.
That's
you know.
right.
Yeah. Kind of cool.
25.
You want to call it?
Now, Gus is raised here to 25. He's got pocket 10s in seat 9. Alan's got pocket deuces. He's going to call.
No, I don't have any money, though.
That's what. I'm trying to figure out if he's got a couple white chips under there or what. Oh, he does. He actually does have about maybe $300.
Oh, he's got a couple white chips hiding.
What are we doing?
That makes more sense. I thought he had like $60. I'm like, what's he calling raises with pocket deuces for?
Did he call?
Yeah, he's called right here.
So has Pablo called here with King
Yes,
Queen.
right here.
No, he's going to get away from it there, Dave.
Wow.
There you go.
And how much is the raise for?
Maybe
About
I should
20.
tell my strategy while people
Now, Albie's got ace-queen suited. He's going to call. Karosha's got a little suited connector. But the thing with Karosh is that if he only has like 50 left, he really shouldn't call, and he doesn't.
And he throws it away. Wow.
So Gus, pre-flop raiser, $60 pot, 3 ways. There's the ace. Ace, 9, 4.
Is Albie going to fire right away, or is he going to do a check raise?
He checks.
Bet 50.
I know you don't have that.
Gus bets 50.
You wanted that jack on.
Let's see how Albie plays this. He is out of position. He's going to call. And now once you know, I mean, what do you think Albie has once he calls you? I mean, I guess he could have a flush draw, but...
He could have a flush draw or an ace. That's I mean, obvious. All he could have.
Turn is an 8. So would you stop firing with 10s? Or and Gus checked right behind him. And the river's a 9. And now Albie's finally going to bet the river.
Now this is the question. If Albie had hearts,
right,
would he bet this?
Well, I've never seen him bet it.
Right, I mean, you and I, if we had hearts here, we very well might bet trying to represent the ace.
Let's see if Gus pays him off.
Now this is the thing. Now Gus has induced this bluff, and against most players, you might want to pay off. The problem is, though, against Albie, it screams, I have an ace.
Not as good.
And he's still thinking about it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no other draw out there, right?
No, and he does make the call. And Albie's going to take it down there with ace-queen.
That's how Albie makes most of his money. You know, people aren't paying attention to the way Albie plays.
Would you pay Albie off there? Then?
No, not Albie. I wouldn't.
Because he bet the river.
Yeah, not Albie. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I don't. I think Albie, if he misses, he checks.
Right.
You know. So a slight grimace falls on his face because no heart comes.
A grimace.
And he checks. And then you can check right behind him, and that's the end.
Right,
of it.
right.
Because he's missed his heart.
Which defense you got?
Because he's not going to pay you off, also.
He just fuck out.
You can check right behind him if another card that doesn't come on the river that's an over.
Right.
You might sometimes need to bet him off of a hand he might have accidentally gotten to at the end.
Yeah. If you want to bet it just to, and also to kind of keep hidden what you have also.
Right.
You can do that as well.
Right.
Well, pocket ace is here.
Make it 20.
And that's Albie. And this is interesting here. Peter Greystoke. I love this guy's last name. Greystoke. Wow. Peter Greystoke has raised up to $20 with Queen Jack, and now goes to Albie. And he's going to re-raise with pocket aces on the button.
And look at this. Carrie's going to call. Pocket fours.
All in with pocket fours.
All in for less. I think it.
With Albie's?
It's unbelievable. I think she's got like 100 there, so she. You know, Albie's going to call the additional 40 or 50.
Now, obviously, we're privy to Albie's style, but a lot of Albie plays here very often, and so does Carrie. I mean, they should know Albie's style by this point.
20-yard line.
And I think Albie asked. Did Albie ask how much more it was? The action's over to him, isn't?
95.
You're going to call.
Clean.
And this is how, you know, we can criticize Albie's style all we want, but when you have players on the table, they're going to pay him off anyway.
Right.
Why not play it tight like this?
So here we go.
Man.
Aces against fours. Carrie's going to need to spike a 4 here.
Ooh.
Does not come.
That would have been interesting, actually. Had Peter stayed in there, he had Queen Jack.
Right.
He would have flopped an open-ended and turned the top pair.
Right.
If Albie had slow played it, he probably would have won a huge pot.
So there you go, Albie. Piles those chips in. And I think Carrie's going to come back to the table, we're getting word.
And I got to tell you, one positive that the Jets are playing on Monday night, it's the only positive, is the fact that if they were playing on Sunday, I'd be forced to watch because I do bleed green, the diehard Jet fan that I am. But the fact that it's on Monday night and I have to work here actually spares me the game.
Is it gotten that bad now, Dave?
Oh, this season is, I'm telling you, this season is just, it's like an abortion. Oh, it's awful. I'm actually right now just kind of privately rooting for a 3-13 season, so we get the number 1 or number 2 pick overall.
Matt Leinart?
Matt Leinart or Reggie Bush.
Albie's got ace-queen, and he limps in from the cutoff. And Karosh is going to put the rest of his money in here. We'll see how much it is with pocket jacks. And let's see if Albie call. Well, Brian's got pocket sevens, too.
Oh, this is 2 play, right?
It's about $80 there.
Oh, you're 2 big blind, right?
Now, Brian calls. You think Albie calls?
How much is it?
Probably not, huh?
Well,
82.
I call.
hey, look at that. Brian instantly calls.
I'll just put 100 in there.
And let's see what Albie does.
He's giving you odds.
Giving me odds, right? I'm giving you odds.
He's got ace queen off suit.
You want me in there, right?
Gianmarco again?
I mean, you got to say one thing. Obviously, we see the fact that Albie plays ace queen this passively. So, and the table doesn't know what hands he's throwing away.
All right, I got good odds. I'm in.
Is he going to call? Oh, look at that, Dave. Wow, surprising.
Now I got to play.
Now, if this flop comes out like ace-7,
Right.
something like that, this could be a huge pot. Because
So we're
Albie's got some money.
We're going to build a side pot. The main pot's about $250. And we're heads up Albie against Brian on the side.
I need this one. Come on, baby. I
And
need
it
this
comes
one.
10, 10, 3.
That's a nice flop for pocket sevens.
Come on, baby.
Brian didn't. Did he check? Did
Yeah,
he?
he did. He didn't
Wow.
bet. He checked. Turns a 3. He checks again.
Now, this is interesting. If Brian bets this, does Albie pay him off with an ace?
Come on, baby.
And the river's a king. And it just gets checked down.
Gianmarco again.
Well, they almost played it like they were playing in a tournament there, Dave. But the thing is that if you've got pocket sevens, you've got to protect your hand, right? If
Yeah,
Albie
I think
calls,
you have to.
Gotta bet, right?
Problem is, though, is when Albie calls you, what you're scared, what he could, he could
Right.
have nines or.
But it's almost like if you check Albie and he checks behind you, you have to bet when that 3 comes on the turn,
What am I
right?
gonna do?
Why not?
Watch him turn,
You know, if Albie does have 8s or 9s, you could probably get him off the hand.
I should have just folded.
Regardless, Karosh had the best hand, so.
Right, but Karosh could have had ace-king.
Right.
You know, Karosh could have ace-king. Albie could have pocket 9s or even pocket jacks.
But
Albie might have thrown
you
away.
also can't let Albie get there for free with ace queen and just check it down to him, and then he spikes a queen at the end, and maybe like you said, Karosh had ace king, and you lose the main because you never bet with your sevens.
There's also 2 pair out there. Who knows? Albie might have even called him.
Right.
You know, thinking his ace high was good.
Half my chips, I got pocket clear. Some calling.
You got Gianmarco again?
I'll pick my time anyway. But still.
Pocket 9s here for seat 3. I'm giggling, Dave, because our camera guy out here has said something in my ear that Testaverde has fumbled the ball 3 times tonight in the first half.
Yeah. Ray was invited to my Halloween party. Was.
He's just going to watch.
Al's going to raise here to 20. I think he has the button. He's got king, queen. 25. Peter calls pocket 9s.
25? Oh, one time.
Albie's called with queen 10 of spades.
And he likes those suited cards. You've noticed that he does play sometimes suited.
Look at Karosh in there with jack 5 offsuit. $100 pot 4 ways.
Yeah, Karosh got some money there. Now he's feeling pretty good about himself.
You don't have
Ace 10,
Gianmarco
7.
July.
Albie has the best hand here, the pair of 10s.
Let's see if Al bets here with the gut shot. If he's just going to take one. Nope, he's not going to bet it.
Wow.
Turn is a 9, and that's going to give Peter a set, and he checks it from up front. And now Albie's going to bet with the queen 10. So Peter is going to probably do a check raise here with his set of 9s.
I would imagine so.
Karosh now has a gut shot to the 8.
I'm really surprised that Alan decided to check that king-queen.
I know what's gonna happen now.
Gianmarco.
I understand people are always scared of the ace. Somebody must have an ace if everybody called me. But they're all looking at it going, well, he must have an ace because he raised.
He would have probably gotten pocket 9s out of there for sure. And probably Albie wasn't going to call either.
Albie's not going to call with queen 10.
And now here we go with the check raise. Peter's and look how quickly Albie folds.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Let me see my sets. Let me see.
And there it is, set of 9s. I just, we've never seen Albie really get into a big-time conversation where he has to make like a big-time Barry Woods-esque call. I'd like to see him maybe get mixed up with a hand like where he had ace-king and it came out king-high and see what he would do. If
I mean,
someone
to
showed
me,
a lot of strength.
for all his chips, he'd have to have a real monster.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, if you're playing against Albie, if you're playing against a player like that, the best way to play a player like that is, you've got to almost be content with winning small pots. Because more often than not, if you get all your money in there with him and he has all his money, you're probably going to be on a losing end.
Thank you.
You might get all his money if you get set over set or something like that. But
Got a new player coming into seat 1 there.
who can
We've
count
seen
on
him
that?
before. His name is Frank.
Frank.
Okay, check that. It's Craig Wong in seat 1.
Yeah, he's known actually in the casino as Frankville.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, it happens. We'll call him Craig here.
If I knew no one calling, I would have phoned.
That's how I feel.
Oh, you want to take it?
There's a couple. There's a limper here. Brian's going to raise out of the blind, and he's going to take it down.
Take it down.
Well, you always can play on Madden, Dave. You know, EA Sports, and have a decent team with the Jets. Doesn't necessarily, reflect.
I'll kick anybody's ass.
Jacks?
Reflect the real life team.
From the defense side.
Do I beat Jack?
I still think that Madden should have some sort of feature where they can somehow update your team, like by real time. Like if my quarterback, gets arrested, he doesn't play that week because he's in jail, or injuries, stuff like that.
Right. Like if you're a Minnesota Vikings fan and your entire team has sex on a boat, maybe they don't show up that week and they'll go to jail.
Yeah, we need a setup here.
That would be great. Hey, they've got online capabilities. Why not, right?
Cards suck.
I think actually when you're playing in franchise mode in that game, if you're not doing well, it does affect like your attendance and things like that.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
And obviously, if there's a trade or something, you can make the trade.
Right.
Yeah.
Bot is limped around here.
5 ways.
Yep.
I've been waiting for her.
So $25 to the flop.
5 times 5. 10-9 deuce, couple clubs. And Benzie there is going to bet with top pair.
Now, 2 people have 10s. Pablo's got a 10 also. He's only got a 6 kicker, so let's see how he plays it.
I assume he was in the blind. Yeah, he's not going to get involved, it doesn't look like.
See, I had this way to drop in.
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, some of the play at this table is better than the table when we see the 10-20 games.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
You made a pair?
I have top pair, but I only got a call. But then I wanted a call.
I do appreciate everybody at 2+2 giving me those painful updates on the Jets. Wow.
We want to, hope that all of our southern Florida viewers are all safe in that Hurricane Wilma that came through this morning.
I had this conversation with Isaac, and I want to throw this at you and anybody listening at home. You guys can email us your opinions at liveatthebike.com or go to 2+2 and put your opinion up there. But we were saying that, if you really want to let people know how ferocious a hurricane's going to be, name them scarier names. I mean, Hurricane Wilma. What the heck's that going to do? I mean, it's like, what is that?
Like Hurricane Bertha, that would scare you more.
A little bit more, Give me some scary names. Isaac actually wanted to name, like Hurricane Thor. Zeus.
They actually already have all the names picked out, before each hurricane season.
Well, they got to come up with, I don't know who's picking them out, but whoever picks them out, make them scarier.
The National Weather Service.
Yeah, who's that guy? I mean, he's doing a disservice to the American people.
Seat one's going to limp. And Craig's got ace-8 offsuit. He limps in from seat 1. Pablo's got a little suited connector.
2 bottles of water.
Wow, he's not going to play it there, Dave, for a limp. 5-6 of diamonds. It's a pretty late position.
Wow.
Brian limps in.
See, at a table like this, with this much money on the table, I'm surprised. He's probably got $500-600 in front
Right.
of him.
Limped around 4 ways. 9-10 jack.
This is interesting here.
Wow, Brian's got queen jack, and seat 6 has jack 9.
Yeah.
So 2 pair against top pair in an open-ended straight draw.
And Craig Wong there, he's got the bottom end of the open-ended straight draw.
Seat 6 bets 20. Craig looks like he calls. Let's see what Brian does here. He says raise, Dave.
40, 20 more.
Mini raise. He makes it 40. Now, at this point, if you're, Ubenza, do you want to re-raise here? Or are you just waiting for a safe card? He's going to re-raise.
He's going to re-raise. Well, because you just can't beat. Brian was probably going to raise and maybe take the free card in the turn.
He makes it 100 more.
Wow.
And
Well, Brian's got a lot of
calls.
outs.
Yep, Brian calls.
Any queen, any 8, any king.
Pot's approaching $300 here. And there's
Bam.
a queen. And Craig would have made a straight, and it goes check, check. And the river's a 6.
Top 2.
Now, the queen is actually the action killer. If a king comes... Actually, probably any card is an action killer.
Yeah.
Trying to think if a king comes, maybe, but I can't imagine
That was a scary card for me.
Ubenza liking his 2 pair if a king comes also.
And Brian increases his chip stat.
King.
Wouldn't it be cool if we get Brian some $1,000 chips there? A 200 game? Break those babies out?
Just toss in a $1,000 chip
Yeah.
like it was nothing.
Well, we definitely have seen big moves with some big chips in our big game. As Brian picks up pocket aces in seat 5. Kind of James check racing Barry Woods with a $5,000 chip.
Thank you.
So Brian's got aces here. He's in the cutoff. Albie's got pocket 7s.
And this is one of those cases where, well, first of all, I don't think Albie's even going to call. But if Albie were to call and give you any action, it's because he has a 7.
Well, Brian has raised pretty big. He made it 35 to go, perhaps even over betting. And look at this, Albie's going to call.
Right. This is one of those cases if Albie, even if you don't know what he has, if you have aces and Albie bets into you or check raises you a lot of money,
Yeah.
he's probably got you beat.
Right. So the pot is now $70. And I'm just saying, like, if the hand comes like 3-3-5, can Albie get away from it? We've just never seen him have that type of decision before. I don't see Queen 8-5 all spades.
That's a great flop.
Yeah.
A couple of aces heads up. 2 black aces heads up.
And he bets 60.
And Albie folds.
Well, not yet, but I'd imagine so.
Like I said, Albie folds.
There you go.
Oh, wait a minute.
I'm not saying they just made it up.
And he shows the aces.
Yeah, a little redraw too.
Brian takes it down.
I think I had the best hand.
Yeah, pretty good bet. Pretty good bet. Pretty safe.
I had a redraw. Jamaco. Aren't you supposed to yell like Hassan Habib when you win a pot? You don't ever heard that? Hassan Habib! Hassan Habib!
Really? Are you supposed to yell Hassan Habib when you win a pot?
That's when your setup worked out nice, huh?
Say that one more time?
Brian's talking about when you win a pot, you're supposed to yell Hassan Habib. Never heard that one.
Really?
Yeah.
I saw Hassan Habib win a pot.
Of course, you can always see Hassan Habib right here on Live at the Bike, normally on Wednesday nights.
Yeah.
For our big game.
Yeah, he's been in
Our
Bellagio.
Poker Blue
He's
Whale
down
game.
in Vegas for about 3 weeks playing at the Bellagio, but he will be back in town.
Maybe
He might even
tomorrow.
be back in town today,
Yeah.
playing in a big game over in the
As long as nobody raises a bunch.
in our Plaza section.
I can stand a little raise.
Karush's got pocket queens, and he's going to raise from seat 8.
Maybe 3.
Hassan Habib, he's a pretty solid game player from what we've seen of him, Dave.
Yeah.
Now, Brian's got gap-suited connector. He's going to call 7-5 of hearts. So queens against 7-5 of hearts.
Brian's one of those players that plays solid like 80% of the time until he tilts.
Ace, queen, jack, a set for Karosh.
Great flop for him normally.
He
Under
does
normal
not bet.
circumstances.
He does not bet. And look at that. A 10 comes on the turn.
Careful,
He
careful.
didn't bet the flop. Slow playing trip queens.
4 cards straight out there.
And now he bets. And look at this. Brian calls. Is Brian setting up a move? $20 bet, and he calls. And the river's an 8. And now that brings out 2 sides of a straight, Dave. A king or a 9. And he checks again. And he's going to check raise, Dave. He check raises the river.
Party foul.
80. Well, people are
Raise
going to
60
come
more.
running.
He made it 60 more. $20 bet here. Well, now we understand what he was trying to do.
Well, I was going to say, obviously, he's making a move. I mean,
Yeah.
5-7 hearts there. He's drawing dead, and he knows it. Karosh now, he can't beat a 9. He can't beat a king. Those are really the only 2 cards you can't beat. The guy has a 9 or a king in his hand.
Yeah. I actually had this exact hand go down for me on Friday night. I had pocket queens. I laid it down the limit game to a check raise on the river. And the guy showed me a set of 10s that he check raised me with the river.
I mean, what can you raise this with? You know the guy doesn't have 2 pair, because 2 pair is just going to call you down.
Right.
He either literally has nothing or a king. right? 'Cause even a 9, he's not going to raise you. You got to start thinking of the hands. Because what would you raise with? There's no way you're going to raise a 9. You just call because you'd be happy to just show it down. Even 2 pair, if the guy had ace jack or something like that, or ace queen, he'd be happy to just call.
Yeah. And look at this. He lays it down there, Dave. And let's see. Did Brian show the bluff? Wow.
I mean, you think about it. Brian's got to have either a king or nothing.
There he is. Shouts to Son of Beeb.
There you go. Maybe he saw Hassan make that same play. He's giving credit where credit's due.
Again, I point out that Hassan Habib was, I think he came to this country to pursue professional tennis from Pakistan.
Really?
And then he kind of fell into...
What kind of courts do they have in Pakistan? Dirt courts?
Probably.
That'll do it. Yep. No waiting on me.
Probably.
I can't play that if I wanted to.
No, Brian's not going to play a hand.
Oh, come on, Brian. Yes, you could. That's a nice shot of Albie picking his teeth. We do our best to make people really look good here.
Right. And we're going to see three-way action limped around. Queen 10-10. Gus has got top pair.
Can't do my $6 bet yet.
And he gets checked around.
Getting there.
Oh, there we go. Turns an ace, and now Al's got the best hand.
Why not bet it if you're Gus there?
Yeah, on the flop, you mean?
Yeah. Now you're going to bet it?
He bets 30.
I mean, how do you expect something? Are you expecting a check raise in a limped pot 3 ways?
Look at that. Al lays the weak ace down. He doesn't want to get involved.
Well, I don't mind him. I don't mind the play by Allen. I just don't understand the play by Gus. He got lucky that Al's a decent player and got rid of it.
Right.
Al's looking at it going, well, I can't beat a 10 if the guy was still playing a 10. And I probably can't beat an ace either.
Right.
Maybe I can chop it up with an ace. That's about it. Because his 8 obviously doesn't play.
I would have made it 11.
Gus wearing the Rams hat over there in seat 9. St. Louis Rams.
They're terrible this year.
Really?
they're all their coaches. Actually, their coaches out of commission. I think he's in the hospital or something. Or he's home.
It's a good thing I made that.
Not the same team as the Marshall Falk days, huh?
No, definitely not the same team that like 4 or 5 years ago. The greatest show on turf, they used to call it.
Patriots went in, whipped their butts in the Super Bowl. 14.5 point underdogs that year.
I wouldn't call it whip their butts, though. They win by like 3.
Unless it was another ace.
Button in seat 9 here. Live at the bike, you get poker and oh so much more.
Once I'll play this hand. Dreaded hand.
And pot is going to be limped around here. Here we go. 10-3 deuce, couple diamonds. Gus has got a flush draw.
Yeah. Albie's got top pair. Let's see what he does in late position.
He's going to bet.
Okay.
That's 20.
Well, that's something Dr. Beebe might have checked.
That's interesting. Dr. Beebe goes through different waves of play, Dave. You know, it's really strange. Gus is going to call with the flush draw. And now is Albie just going to be done with it? That's the other problem. He might just check this one all the way down. Turns a deuce. Let's see if he bets. Oh, he's going to bet again.
Yeah, with a couple of diamonds out there, he doesn't want to give a free card. He'll check the river, though, if this guy calls.
Well, Gus is not going to chase it now with the board as pair.
Now, the one thing with going for a flush against Albie is the implied odds aren't really there.
Or nil.
You know, the diamond comes, he's going to check, you're going to bet, he's going to fold.
Right. It's basically you need to look at specific pot odds if you want to chase your draws against Albie.
Thank you,
David, was the funniest thing as we were going through this dealer change. We were playing at a 20-40 limit table earlier today, and I had raised in early possession with pocket kings. And there's another guy that called. The flop came out ace 10-3, all hearts. I had the king of hearts in my hand. I bet the flop he called. I bet the turn he called, and I just checked down the river. And the dealer, after I turned my cards over, pointed at the king of hearts to somehow tell the other player, well, I was betting into my flush draw.
Oh.
I've never seen that. You were there. I've never seen that before.
As if the dealer was kind of like, you know,
right. He had
making
the king
sure
of
that you were playing it correct.
Right.
You weren't bluffing.
But I know you got a kick out of that table.
I was just kind of below. I was like, what is this dealer doing? It was kind of an odd little maneuver. Karosh is going to raise it up here with ace king here. Craig's got king jack of diamonds. He's in trouble, but he's got the diamonds. And Peter's going to call also with king queen.
Dude, that was sensational.
And not surprisingly, no high cards come out.
Yep. And Karosh bets.
And Peter actually folded his king queen. I take that back. I'm sorry. Give him credit for that one. He folded king queen.
Craig is going to muck.
No call, sir.
Well, again, you just get into real trouble. Boy, I mean, I used to think that I always thought the king queen was a trap hand and no limit day, but after watching thousands of hours of live action play, I even play it less myself now to raise. It's just
It's a troublesome hand.
yeah.
I was actually, even in limit hold'em, those kind of hands get you in trouble. I actually had king queen the other day. I raised in middle position. A player in the small blind re-raised me, and I just called. And the flop came out king high, and sure enough, he had ace king.
Yeah.
And I played it aggressive. I mean, I actually raised him on the turn to see where he was at. And he called me, and then I checked down the river. And he showed that he had an ace king. But that kind of hand can really get you in trouble.
Pocket aces here for Peter.
Wow.
He's on the button.
And Ubenzi's got king queen suited. Now, suited obviously gives a little more value to it. But you still got to be careful.
And seat one limps him with jack 10, and here comes a raise.
Huh? Oh, it is.
How much is the raise there?
Looks like $30.
$30.
It is.
So he puts the 10 on the flop and I double
Heads up here.
Two players.
Now, Peter does not have the ace of spades, so.
Well, it goes
Deuce 3-6 rainbow.
9. Queens and aces.
Gets checked to Peter, and he's going to bet.
Play one of my favorite hands, 4-5.
$10 pre-flop.
Yeah, I tipped you $10.
He bets, looks like maybe 40 or 50. 40.
Here's $10. Put it on the put a 9 on the flop.
And this is one of those cases where taking off one can really be dangerous.
Yep. He's going to muck it. I think the king queen and limit hold'em, Dave, especially king queen suited, can take a little bit more heat because, again, you're only going to lose whatever the limit is.
Of course, right.
Each street. I mean, 2040. I mean, you might end up losing a couple hundred bucks at most because players like you and I who are smart aren't going to really call multiple, double-sized raises with king queen with a king high board because it's just probably not going to be good.
No, right. I mean, mine. I was playing 40-80, and it was heads up. But it's still even in limit game, it can get you in trouble.
That's 30.
How much you got left?
And
shove it all in there.
Koresh has got ace king.
I mean,
there.
hold'em inherently is a kicker
I
game.
wanted just to throw a bunch of these in there to see how it felt.
He raises to 30 in seat 8.
Got ace king again, huh?
Man. And Albie's probably not going to get involved here with queen jack.
No call, sir.
And he folds. And then, of course, the problem with king queen and even sometimes ace queen or ace jack in that case is that chances are you're either going to win a small pot or your opponent has a better hand than you when you hit and you're going to lose a big one.
Right.
And you might win a small pot because it misses him. But when you both hit, boy, you're in real trouble.
Yeah.
So a guy trying to bluff another guy, and the other guy hit quads today.
Ace king here again. This time for.
And obviously, every hand can be dominated, and sometimes it's just bad luck. I mean, you could have ace king, and the guy could have aces, and you could flop a king, and that hand can be obviously be dominated. But ace queen, ace jack, king queen. There's so many more ways to be dominated.
Craig is raised here to $25 with ace king.
Man. Seems like every hand somebody has ace king.
Take it down.
I need a bowl. You can't get the juice there.
Button moves over to seat 6.
What's up, Superman?
And I tell you, that people on 2+2 really have a good memory.
Yeah.
You know, they remember Ice there, Brian in seat 5, and they remember how he blew through about $1,000.
And that was in a 3 to 5 game, right?
That was in a 3 to 5 game that Shirley actually played in.
Right.
And I want to say probably 2 to 3 weeks ago.
Pot is limped around here, 4-way action. King 10-8.
This is interesting.
Well, Albie's got a weak king. Oh, he's going to bet it right out there, Dave. Wow. And actually, yeah, he did bet with the king 4, and Craig's going to call him.
He's definitely a player I want to raise.
Well, the turn's a deuce, and it's a 3rd spade. Check, check. And the river's a king. Wow. Now Albie's made trip kings.
Well, that might entice Craig to pay him off.
30.
Again, though, it's Albie. I mean, it's almost like, okay,
I understand that,
bet
but do you think Craig is watching?
I bet the king, now 3rd spade comes, I check, and now I'm going to bet the river because I just made 3 kings and you didn't show any strength on the turn.
Right. I mean, I wonder if Craig had raised the flop. If Albie just throws it right there.
I'm almost shocked that Albie led out with king 4. I might not even lead out with king 4 in that type of flop. An early position, you know?
Well,
aces against kings.
Yeah, and they're next to each other.
Seat 3 against seat 4. And Peter's got aces, and he's going to raise.
35.
He makes it 35, and there are the kings right next to him.
Derek says 35.
About 2 hours ago, I had kings versus aces.
Derek said 80.
Very ugly.
That guy's a maniac anyway.
And he just calls. He's just going to call. He's going to play a little trap game there, Dave.
You think Brian's a savage? Derek's a savage.
No. Brian.
Derek's a savage.
Well, if somehow Peter can flop a set, it might save Pablo.
Yeah, if that ace, the ultimate scare card comes
Exactly.
out there. Doesn't look like we see any more aces have been out, so there's probably still 2 left. And here we go. $70 pot. Well.
Oh, this is dangerous.
Yeah, 8-6-3. And I think, what has Peter done? He's checked.
And Peter has the ace of hearts.
And so Peter checked, and Pablo's going to bet 75 now. So Peter's playing the trap here.
And I'm assuming Peter's going to check raise, and Pablo will probably call.
The pot is now $135, 75 for Peter to call.
This is one of those.
And here we go, Dave. He's going to raise. I think he said 300.
That's a big raise.
That's pretty much going to put Pablo all in.
Yeah.
I don't see how Pablo can he get away from this hand?
You know, only if you're playing the player. I mean, Peter, I don't know Peter well enough. You know, if that was Albie, you could say, well, he must have flopped a set. But
Right.
That's really tough. I mean, you're only losing to 4 hands here, you know. The sets, obviously, or a pocket aces.
So he makes it 300 to go, so 225 more.
I mean, let's be honest. Would Peter make this move with queens, jacks, 10s, or even 9s?
And actually, Pablo looks like maybe 350 in front of him there. Those are $50 stacks, 7 of them.
This is just unfortunate luck for Pablo. I mean, he's pretty much got, right now, he's got the 5th nut hand.
Right.
You know, it's one of those cases where you go, would my opponent make this move with queens or jacks? And with that flop, he probably would.
Stop. Not bubbling no more. What's up?
And again, with him having 350 more, obviously, if he's going to call this, he's just going to push in now.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's just gut instinct. Sometimes you just got to know that you're beat. And if you can go with your gut instinct and just trust it, then...
This would be a very, very impressive laydown. You don't see these laydowns. You never see these laydowns in our big game, ever.
No.
Would Barry Woods lay down kings, and I know Barry is actually
I got to be honest,
monitoring
I don't think Mo
thread.
lays this
No.
down. I don't think... I don't know if Yoshi Nakano lays this down, or Osana Beeb lays this down. I mean, this is a tough, tough laydown.
I know that Barry Woods is monitoring our thread tonight, Dave.
I mean, I don't think I can lay this down. This is just...
And there you go. He's going to move all in,
Yeah.
and Peter's going to call.
And I want to give him credit, though. He actually said, do you have aces?
Yeah.
I mean, he actually thought about it.
Yeah. And he's in real bad shape. And now he's got 1 out.
Yeah, king of clubs is it.
None. Nope, and the river is a queen of spades.
I knocked him over for you. Where's the degree all in?
And
you can't blame Pablo there. That's just tough luck.
I'm going to leave those stacks. You can just pick them up, get them.
Now, I mean, I was playing a limit game earlier, the same game you were playing in 2040, and I had kings and guy had aces, and I actually threw him away after the flop. Before the turn, I saved myself the turn bet and the river bet. But in that case, the flop actually came with a queen.
Yeah.
And I thought the guy was pretty strong, so I said, you know what, this guy, if he doesn't have aces, he's got queens.
Right.
And I had kings, and I laid him down to a queen-high board. But that's a tough laydown, real tough.
It seemed like he was almost going to make the right move.
Looks like Brian's having some food there, right over the table.
Yeah. Interesting little arrangement.
Raise it, make it
Kung Pao chicken or something?
We have a clock somewhere showing how long Brian's actually been here, and I think it's about 32 hours and counting.
15 more to call.
But he's betting, got to be raised.
We should probably get a BO.
Detector?
Yeah, exactly.
Three-way action here. And I believe this one was brought in by, I want to say, Koresh in seed 8.
Well, Lubenzi's got a overcards and a flush draw.
And he's going to bet. He bets right into the razor. He bets 35.
Now, I don't mind the play here, because if he doesn't want to check raise, because if he check raises, Kurosh is probably pot committed, and if Kurosh just has an ace in his hand, Lubenzi's got to catch.
You need to call her up.
Well, now, Mike E. Vegas on 2+2 was talking about that hand earlier where Brian check raise bluffed Koresh in seed 8. Koresh had a set of queens, and Brian had nothing. And the board was ace, king, queen, 10, right, Dave? And actually, the river was an 8.
Right.
And Mike has said that the guy with the set of queens should not have bet the river, that there was no value. Do you agree with that?
Now, I'm trying to remember the hand. Brian was in position, right?
Brian was actually out of position. Koresh was in position.
So he actually check raised.
He check raised the river, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Might as well hit there, big fella. The rockers.
Yeah, I'm a big river guy, betting rivers, and especially limit there, Dave. I bet the
Yeah,
river
you know,
with
I'm
my
saying-
set of queens, because if you get check raised, it's only one extra bet. The only problem when I told my story is I forgot to call.
Yeah,
And
if
you know.
let's just take a quick look at this hand, make sure nothing exciting is
Well,
happening.
it's trip 4s here for seat 9. It was limped around.
Yeah.
And Gus does not bet here on the button with his trip 4s.
Jack comes on the turn. Nobody has a jack either.
Now let's see if Gus puts some money in. And he bets.
20.
I don't think anybody can call this. Now, if I'm in position, if I'm out of position, I might throw a bet in there because maybe I get called by 2 pair.
Right.
You know? Do I get called by 2 pair?
Look at this. Allen called with ace 5 here on the turn. And now he's going to bet. So he's representing the 4.
I'm not in the pot.
But he does. But he doesn't know that he's up against Gus, who has the 4.
I can't call blue chip bet.
So Allen has check called the turn, and now he bets the river.
Well, you know,
Move.
Gus checking the flop has confused Allen and basically trapped him. Nice trap here.
I don't even throw one back.
Well, is Gus going to raise here?
Ray hit my hand with
To be honest with you, there's not much value in raising
Well, yeah.
this one, actually.
Because if Allen does have a 4, chances are he's got you out kicked.
Right, and if he also might have 3-5. He might have backed into a straight.
Right.
He apologized.
Open-ended straight.
Huh? He apologized. Profusely. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of times Allen. Well,
Raise it. Make
wow,
it
he's going to raise. Yeah, I don't
Yes,
think
and
I
if
would
this
have
raise,
raised
to be
there.
honest with you, I
Yeah.
think it's worse than betting with pocket queens.
Right. And Allen lays
Because
it
Allen
down.
can't even call with a jack. And you know he's going to call with a 4.
Right.
And you know he's going to call with a straight.
Yeah, that's almost like a bet that. I mean, with your kicker there, you could call unless you think. I mean, maybe Allen had an open-ended straight. He could have had an open-ended straight or he got there, but he also might have been putting in a little bit of one of those defensive bets with the jack. So you're going to raise him up, not let him name his price. But
Right, but is he going to pay you off with a jack?
right.
You know. Now, in the case of a set of queens, to me, I mean, you've got to really figure out and go, okay, what does my opponent have, and what is the worst hand my opponent will pay me off with? Will he pay me off with ace jack or ace queen there? You know.
Sorry.
Well, it's really difficult to call. You know, the guy's not going. He's not going to call you with 1 pair on that.
He's not going to call you with 1 pair. He might not even call 2 pair, but he might though. I mean, especially heads up.
15 more to call.
Got a $15 raise here on the button. And like I said, I learned something from that hand in that 30-60 game on Friday. Because, Dave, the pot was like $600, and I laid it down to a check raise on the river.
But he had you, right?
No, he just had a set of tens. Ace 10 9
Wow.
here. Couple diamonds.
Now, Gus is the best
Enough
hand,
money to bluff at, sir.
40.
but Craig's going to bet second pair with his queen kicker.
Don't have enough money to bluff you out of the pot.
So let's see what Gus does here.
I have problems doing
Now, Gus has a backdoor nut flush draw. Becomes diamond.
Done it.
Huh?
If there's a little circulation, I can turn the fan this way.
Oh, is it hot?
He's still thinking.
We got about 120 behind.
He's asking Craig, you have about 120 left behind?
25, make 175 total. 160.
Yeah, he's put him, I mean, by not betting here, he was in late position on this hand. He only had Craig to act behind him, so.
He's in great shape, but he doesn't know that.
Right. But Craig could be betting on with a 9, with a 10 with a weaker kicker.
Of course. Craig's in position. It's a nice bet by Craig. You'd bet it, I'd bet it, wouldn't you? Second pair?
Gus is not going to get involved.
No call.
Nice bet.
But anyways, what I was trying to point out on that hand, again, it was the same situation as what Karush had, almost exact same board.
Almost a one-liner cut to straight.
One-liner, I had a set of queens. The guy check-raised me on the river with a set of tens, and what the deal with that was that I almost give players in brick and mortar casinos too much credit there, Dave, because I can tell you that he check-raised the river not because he thought he needed to get me off of his hand, but because he thought he had the best hand. He said, "Oh, I put you on ace king," which I just thought was. He actually check-raised me off the best hand, but with a 4-liner there, you're going to check-raise someone with a set of tens? I mean, it's just. But
some people are a little naive.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not like they're trying to make a play. They just honestly think they have the best hand.
And that's what happened. And I almost I gave the guy a little too much credit. But I played the hand back in my head, and I was like, "There's just no way this can be good."
Right.
And,
No call, sir.
and again, the problem inherently with limit is that if you've got a pot, which in this case was say $500 to make it a round number, $600, and he check raises you $60, he only needs to make that move and not have the best hand 1 out of 10 or 1 out of 11 times.
Right.
For it to
be profitable.
Correct. So that's why you have to pay off so much in limit.
Well, yeah, I mean, people always say, you're not going to make a living in limit hold'em making big late outs.
Right.
Now notwithstanding, I still say, like when I laid down my pocket kings today,
right.
You watching the hand, it was very obvious the guy had me beat.
Right.
His mannerisms, the way he was acting, it just screamed my kings were no good. But yeah, of course, when you're playing, if you're on the river, the pot is $600-700, and you've got to call a $20 bet or a $40 bet.
Oh, yes.
You only have to be right 1 out of 13 or 14 times for it to be a correct call.
Well, I don't know if it's chargeable. To be honest with you, I think that the Dallas game.
I mean, that being said, still, you don't want to pay a guy off if you know you're a loser, though.
Sometimes I have to.
It's obviously a fine line.
Almost as big as you are.
You're bigger.
Probably bigger.
You're bigger.
You're bigger.
In the wrong place.
Where are all of our players? What happened to our players?
I sit in the wrong place.
And look at Barry Woods getting help from his fellow 2+2ers on how to play Hassan Habib. And it amazes me that the players that play in our games on a regular basis don't watch the archives more often.
Right.
And don't ask the 2+2, especially live at the bike thread, for help. It amazes me.
Well, poker is never an absolute thing.
No,
I think some people sometimes think, well, why would those people help me? Well, you just need a fresh opinion. It doesn't matter if their people are professional poker players or not.
You've got people. Kev Nath and Russ McGinley and 7-7 players that have watched this regularly. That see the cards every day.
We're heads up here. Karosh against Al, and Al has got top pair here. And
well, Karosh.
I think Karosh just moved all in with
Karosh
pocket
moved
threes.
all in with pair threes.
And Al called.
put a big stack in for me, just for the camera.
Well, Karosh moved all in and basically said, okay, well, he's only going to get called by hand that beats him, and sure enough, Allen called him.
Turns deuce. River's a 9. Allen's going to take it down. That was kind of that stop and go play almost, Steve, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Although we talked about Hassan Habib being a pretty solid cash game player. The last time he was on the show, he actually had a really rough night.
Yeah.
He
No hand right now, right?
And I got to tell you, one of the other things that Shirley and I find absolutely amazing, these guys that play these high cash games, especially someone like Yosh Nakano, does it for a living, they are really prone to going on tilt. Yosh is, he's got to be like one of the biggest tilters I've seen on the show on any level. Really?
Wow.
He really changes his game.
You wonder if it's the, I know he's a big drinker, he likes the wine.
Right.
And when he hits a couple more, too many glasses of vino, maybe, is that what affects him?
I don't know, but he seems to definitely be prone to tilt.
Well, if you're going to be a professional poker player, money management is probably more important than your poker skill.
Raise it. Raise. Raise 20.
Oh, Al's got a raise here out of the blind with King Jack. A couple tight players in there.
You want a hand, you got a little air in your way.
Craig's got pocket 5s, and he's going to call. We're heads up. And Al's hit top pair again.
Wow.
Look at this. Craig's going to bet right into it.
25.
Let's see what Al does.
Now, I don't mind that bet by Craig.
Al just calls. Oh, excuse me. He raised. Yeah.
See, that's a nice bet by Craig. It's kind of a find out where you're at bet. He found out. Karosh put himself in a position where he was only getting called by hand that beats him. We got a new player in seat 4.
Oh, that's wrong.
And his name is Dave.
I got you, buddy.
There you go. It's $2.
There you go.
Dave, do you do a lot of shopping at Armani Exchange down in Karen, New York?
No, I don't do a lot of shopping, period, to be honest with you.
Does your wife pick out your clothes?
To be honest with you, once in a while my wife will go out and get me some clothes, and between that and, Christmas time and my birthday, that's pretty much when I rely on getting my clothes for the year.
Now, Brian, he's down a couple hundred since the beginning of the show. Peter, he's really increased his chip stack, Dave, up to 1,600 with those pocket aces against pocket kings.
Raise it 20 more.
Karosh is actually broke now.
2 players.
I just want to see a flop.
We're heads up here. Pocket 9s against Jack 10 of hearts.
I check. Go ahead.
Brian
Pocket
checks.
9's still good here, but not a great flop for 9s.
I mean, if he bets once here and he gets called, it's really difficult to bet again, isn't it?
And Brian might call this because Brian's got a gut shot and a backdoor hearts.
Yep, $20 bet and a call.
One more.
He called 20, but he...
I wouldn't call 20.
There you go. Let's see the turn.
2 of you.
Turn to
Okay,
7.
check again.
All right, I'll check it.
Yep, there you go. Gus is going to shut down now. The river's a 5, so let's see if Brian... No, Brian's not going to bet.
Now, if a spade comes, I bet you Brian bets it.
Yeah.
That's what I figured.
He's been using that all day. Sometimes I'm prone to one thing I will say is if I go to Vegas or something, or I go on vacation, I'll try to pick up a nice shirt or something like that from that specific area.
Yeah.
I love to see the pocket
Small
9s.
blind. Big blind.
But anybody that watches the show regularly can see that my wardrobe rarely changes.
Last shot, I'll come back.
And I think you must own, 14 black T-shirts?
You got Marco?
And that's it?
I wouldn't say Jim Uncle.
You never see me at the club.
No, I never see you at the club. Sorry, I missed you there.
Craig is going to raise here with Queen Jack offsuit from seat 1. He makes it 20 to go.
Raise.
I mean, that 50 Cent song, it's the story of my life. Listen to those lyrics.
Yeah? Oh, okay.
Into club.
When I get home, I'll listen to it. Wow.
Jack, Queen.
Pocket aces again for Brian. He's in the small blind. How many times is this for him now? 2 or 3?
Yeah, he's had aces a bunch.
Like I said, I mean, if he's pushing his chips around, might as well do it with your good hands as well.
It's never a short game like this.
Yeah.
Craig is going to
And his
raise.
stack really hasn't gone anywhere. He started with pretty much 3,800, and he's still right around 3,750.
He's down, yeah, he's down a tiny bit. Craig has raised here $15 with Queen Jack.
Yeah, seat 1 raised to 15. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's not a big deal. All right. I was just
See how Brian plays
the
it.
future reference kind of thing.
Do I?
He's going to re-raise.
45.
Makes it 45 to go.
48 or 45?
45.
45.
Even though that raise is really small, you almost could actually play a little bit of a trapping game with aces because you know Albie's just not going to call in the blind anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking that, actually.
Yeah. He shows the aces. Craig does not call, and he takes it down.
Marco.
Would you like to buy the button, sir? All right.
You like that? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 15, he shut it down. Easy, Tiger. 15 is the same as 45, isn't it, Pete?
I gotta show the world. There it is, people.
A couple of Queen Jacks here. And a Queen 10.
Hola, Jamaco. Welcome to the Spanish Poker Channel.
It's true. Live at the button.
Latin Poker Channel.
Limp. Limp.
Ese es Jamaco.
I still think this game's a little bit passive. I believe that seat 4 is in the hand, but we can't see
Well,
it.
it's a little more passive, but it's a little more tighter than our big game.
Yeah.
Look
at that. A queen comes off, so queen deuce 8. A couple people have top pair.
People just aren't, mindlessly throwing their money away.
And Dave, that's the case queen, because this guy's got queen jack as well in seat 4.
So a couple of queen jacks and a queen 10, huh?
Yeah.
I can't.
Oh, no. Raise and make it 25.
We got a bet here by Al.
Word that lies.
Bet 6.
It was in the dark, I said.
David raised it to 20. 25. And is Gus going to call here with queen 10? Bet and a raise?
See, a bet and a raise. Now you got to go, what can I beat?
He calls.
No, thank you.
B?
No, thank you.
Anybody else?
And Alan re-raises.
Wow.
He makes it 50. 6, bet 6, raise to 25. A call, and then Alan makes it 50 now. And let's see what David does here. And it's 50 more, Dave.
It's not an easy call at all.
He's
Yeah.
going to get rid of it.
Well, I mean, you've raised it already. A guy's called your raise, and now a re-raise.
Right.
How do you like your queen jack now? And Alan might even get Gus off the hand here, too. That's some good aggressive play.
I'm sure Al would want to call here by Gus.
Oh, yeah, well, Gus, he doesn't mind calling.
Yeah.
He got David out, which is the important guy to get out.
95%. So it makes me a little happy. The most I ever saw anyone win on a 20 game was 4,800.
You know?
Really?
Well, he's still thinking about it.
Go. With no rebuy?
No rebuy. You gotta take a little tray to go to the cash. It was all in yellow.
4,800 in yellow? Christ almighty.
9 racks.
And he's still thinking.
Put it on one of those
4,500.
And if you're thinking of the perfect Christmas gift for that poker player in your life, give him the gift that keeps on giving. How about giving a subscription to the archives for Christmas?
I would love that. How can I get one?
Well, you can go to liveatthebike.com and click on
I mean, how do I
the
give one to
archives
one of my
page.
loved ones?
What?
How do I give it to my loved ones?
You can also email us here at Live at the Bike, and we'll help you arrange to get that.
Wow.
Email us at liveatthebike.com.
That's fabulous.
minus the buy-in, so...
And he's still thinking.
Oh, he had
$94 an hour or something like that.
He had
Well, hit another point
Hey,
then.
look, oh, here we go. He's going to call.
2 players.
And he's in big trouble.
6, or he had 5,000.
These guys are pretty deep, both of them. The turn's a 5.
No, that didn't help you.
And what does Al think that Gus has now?
He must hate his hand.
Well, he's going to continue to bet, though.
I mean, there are spade draws out there. Put the guy on a spade.
He bets 80.
But this is the problem with Gus's hand now. What is he going to think about it for another hour now?
But, Dave, that's a real small bet because the pot is about $210. So it's 80 into a $210 pot.
It's kind of a value bet almost.
That's like 2.25.
80 into 210, huh?
Yeah, Gus just doesn't want to get off it.
Well, if he's got spades, he does not have the odds. He obviously doesn't have. If he's out-kicked and he knows he's out-kicked, he does not have odds to go for the 3-outer.
He's having real trouble with this hand.
And the only thing he can beat, really, you got to think, is if Alan has, spades himself.
Yeah, because we know Alan pretty well. I'm surprised that he's played Queen Jack in this manner. You know?
I like the aggressive play, I got to tell you. He plays it more aggressive in this game than he does in the bigger games, which is what a lot of people do.
And actually, I want to say the pot is more like 250 right now, 80 to call.
Now, I mean, do you think Gus would be thinking about it this much with Ace Queen or King Queen? That's what Alan's got to be thinking, going, okay, well, what does this guy have? I don't think he has 2 pair. He's probably got a queen.
And he gets rid of it. Shows the queen.
I got one.
And now shows the queen.
We all got a queen there. Okay, one down.
Ace Queen on the flop. It's interesting here on 2+2, Dave. C.W. Siggy wrote up that in Phil Gordon's new book, he talks about being dominated with hands. And he talks
I thought you were getting somewhere else.
He talks about
with Michael.
he talks about 8-7 suited against all combinations of pocket aces, pocket kings, ace king, or ace queen, being about 32% to win, whereas ace jack is only 25.6% to win against those same types of hands. Now, obviously,
against that hand in particular.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I thought against all those hands. I'm like, wait a second.
No.
Ace Jack is 25% to win against Ace, Ace, King, King, Ace, King.
But what
Ace,
it means, what I think, what the point is that Ace Jack might look pretty, but in actuality, it might even be more valuable to have something like 7-8 suited.
Oh, definitely. We talk about that all the time.
Yeah.
It's the reason why we don't like to call raise with King, Queen offsuit.
Right.
I'd much rather. I would always call a raise. Well, not always, but I'm saying it'd be easier for me to call a raise with 4-5 or 5-6 suited than it would with Ace Jack or King, Queen offsuit.
Why not for me, my ass?
I'm loose. You're not.
You know, the poker table is not the place I want to be dominated.
Played every hand.
But there are other parts of your life.
Are you inquiring? You're really scaring me. First you tell me you play with dolls, now you're inquiring about my...
You're the one that brought it up.
Hey,
there's our lovely chip runner. There you go, Marina. Marina.
Is that a way to change the subject?
The first time I put him in, he
Seat 6 is going to raise here at $15 with the ace jack.
Make it 20, 15 more to call.
Gives me ideas for our Halloween costume.
And he's going to... Oh, seat 4 is in there. We can't see what he has. He's got ace 3 offsuit, and he is dominated. And there's the ace. And can he get away from it? He's kind of short. Doesn't have many chips, Dave, like about 100 or 130.
That's 40.
And Benzie's going to bet 40.
And David is pretty much drawing dead to win the pot. I mean, he needs runner 3. Because 1-3 is not going to do it. Obviously, your best 5 cards. So they both have aces. They both have aces and 8s already.
And he's going to move all in here, Dave. And because he's short, I think it's probably a pretty easy call for ace jack.
Yeah.
Because it's only another 90, I would say. And he is going to make the call.
I mean, even if this guy has... I'm trying to think. Even if the guy has...
There's a classic lesson in domination.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, wow, the turn is an 8, and that's going to chop it up.
Yep.
Oh, man. What a horrible beat. What a horrible chop.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously a king or a queen could have come as well.
Right.
And actually, the king is enough as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I needed to dodge some, a couple queens or kings or an 8 or an ace. There you go.
And they chop it up. And I think that's David in the behind David.
We both have ace
in the blue shirt.
And Peter looks like he's getting up.
Nope, that's not. Yeah, it is David. There's Big D.
Local railbird.
He's a local railbird and a local tournament player.
Yeah.
He had 3 jacks. I had 1 freaking.
Advertising Doyle's room. He's a really nice guy. I got to tell you, he's a really, really nice guy. Anytime I'm playing the game, he always kind of gives me support.
Take it easy, bro. You too, boss. All right. Get 50. Call.
Limp.
Couple folds. An all in. An all in. An all in. And an all in.
Guy turns over.
Gus has got ace deuce. He's going to win.
That's great.
And when you're talking about domination, I actually like ace deuce or ace 4 or ace 5 even better than ace 6 or ace 7 because of the small added value of possible wheel.
Well, Gus has flopped a wheel draw right here. Jack 4-5.
Yeah, he's going to need Craig to hit a set, though, to get it. So it's going to be difficult.
You don't like my weird bets? Because it was a weird bet.
And I believe Al bet in
$7.
again, like small amount, $7.
It's going to be 22.
And Craig calls with pocket threes, but Al has the best hand. Yeah, if 3 comes here, Dave, crazy action. Well, the turn's a queen.
8 again.
No, it was 7 last
No,
time.
7
Al
last.
That's got to be a
bets
scare card here.
$8 again. I was a big fan of betting these odd amounts.
I have a pretty good idea.
What do you usually guess on? You usually change it just so I don't give you $5.
And I don't think Gus is going to chase now with 3 hearts out there, right?
Yeah, once in a while you can get somebody to fold a hand. Believe it or not, it's weird. I've actually had somebody do this. I bet like $17 one time, and a guy only had yellow chips and didn't want to break his yellow chips, so he folded his hands.
Oh, there you go.
I was like, okay, I'll keep doing that.
It's the river to avoid the guys nuts straight and give everybody else the pocket tens.
So you want
That's
the
a
big
new one.
Right?
Small.
No problem.
Pocket tens get his money chopped out.
So we got a new player that's going to come into Peter's seat at some point.
Queen hit for the river.
Anybody want this seat?
So Peter finished up about $900 and left, huh?
Yes, he did.
It looks locked up.
It's locked up.
You get 10 minutes without money, right?
It's here.
It's been 10 minutes.
It's been 10 minutes, Connor.
All right. I put my right.
Option, sir. Okay. All right. 4 players.
Pot has been limped around here again. King, 6, queen, couple clubs.
That's like gold. You're right, sir.
I checked my pair. I bet mine.
25.
Okay.
Gold.
I respect yours.
We got Eric in seat 4 now. David has moved. As we say goodbye to Mr. Greystoke.
Gus has top pair here. He bets. And he's going to take it down.
Take it down, Gus.
And we got about an hour left on the show.
Thanks, man.
And it's interesting. I'm reading the 2+2 thread, and they're talking. A lot of the players are asking some of the other players what games they play. And CW Siggy actually talks about playing scared money if you're playing no limit. And that's often the case. You know, everybody can watch our big game on Friday or our big game on Wednesday and go, God, these players are terrible. I wish I could play in this game. It's such, you know, the next time I go to LA, I'm playing in the game. You know, and it's easier said than done when you're faced with the situation of actually having to call a $5,000 bet. You know, when it's real money in there, and if you're playing with scared money, suddenly your really solid play where you play 3-6 or you play the $100 no limit game turns into a scared game.
Weird bet. I'm going to call it.
You know, and you can sit here and say, oh, well, I wouldn't do that. But, you know, sometimes it's harder to do than you can say it.
Seat 9 has raised here to 20.
Probably going to bet $9.
With ace-7 offsuit. Al's going to call with pocket 8s.
He's got him in bad shape, huh?
It'll be at least an 18.
Oh, Benzie's going to call too, huh?
8-9 offsuit. King, queen, 9. Benzie's got the best hand.
This is one of those whoever bets is going to take it down, huh?
What am I going to do?
Al bet $9.
I don't know what to do.
Now look at this. Gus is make a frustration call.
I was the only thing that's interesting there is I know it's only $9, but why are you calling with ace-7?
Turns a 3. Well, maybe just set up a bet here on the turn. No, he's going to
What kind of
check.
play was that?
A balk. It's a balk. Take your
Yeah, balk,
base.
balk.
Take your base. Yeah.
And to me, that's the classic. I hope he doesn't bet. I've got chips in my hand. Maybe this will scare him from betting.
Oh, I guess it did.
Pair the board.
And
Little
the
tell.
Rivers is 7, and
Little
now,
tell there.
now Gus picks up a pair.
45.
And it gets checked to Al. Does he think he needs to bet here? He's representing the third heart. His hand will not win in showdown because seat 6 has got 8-9.
Well, seat 6 just laid down, so.
You remember, Gus took all that time with the queen 10 earlier. The action is again over to him on a call that he has to make against Al.
Queens
And
are actually good.
he's going to muck it.
No queens.
Nice play by Allen. Take it down.
Yeah, he just put it over there, right? Wait for him to do it.
Good luck, coach.
Pablo is back.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Take care, buddy.
Pablo earlier took a tough beat when he had pocket kings up against Peter Greystoke's pocket aces.
You just love that, don't you?
Mr. Greystoke?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a killer name.
Button now is in seat 3.
No, I'll wait.
Okay. Are you back again?
Yeah, man.
Couldn't get away from the camera.
Damn pride.
You're working on your fan base too?
Huh?
Queen Jack of clubs here for Gus, seat 9.
I figured I was that close to the TV deal.
Give it away already.
He limps. Craig limps.
You can only lock it for 10 minutes, so that's why they gave it away.
Small blind, $3.
And we got a couple limpers here. And here we go, 4-way action, $20 pot. 10, 6, 10. Didn't really hit anybody here, Dave.
Nope. More often than not, when the flop comes paired, it misses everybody. If you were to bet every single flop that was paired, you'd probably make money in the long run.
You know, I could have sworn I heard that from somebody. Someone said that before.
Hey, Donovan.
Oh, it was you. Oh, there you go.
Well, I mean, seriously,
Turn is
if
an
you
ace.
put a nice little bet in there every single time the flop came out paired, like 10-6-6 or Jack-Jack-4, you know, anything like that, and you bet, you'd probably win more often than you'd lose. And the few times that you got called, you could safely shut down and throw your hand away.
Greg bets here on the turn, gets called by Albie, and now they're going to chop it up.
Especially at a passive table.
Jack comes and saves Albie. No, but I know we've talked about in the past about how if the board is paired, usually, or not, I mean,
more often than not, it misses everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Now, obviously, if your table is real aggressive and people are going to take one off or two off, you know, or prone to making plays at you, you've got to adjust accordingly. But at a passive table, why not take a shot at it? It's like a 3 flush with an ace high, you know, ace and 3 flush out there.
Button moves over here to seat 4.
Getting word that Peter Greystoke actually left his iPod behind.
Wow.
I'll just
bluff night, Friday night.
No, I'm assuming that it was a tip for me. And that's safe enough to assume.
Seat 3 is going to raise here to 15 with Jack 8 of clubs. And the blind calls. 10-7, Dave.
20.
A bet and a call. Turns a blank, and it goes check, check, and the river's a 4.
So Benzi's hand holds up there, 10-7.
And now he bets.
I gotta believe you, man.
Now, in that situation there on the river, I don't know if I would bet 7-10, Dave. Because, again, what are you going to call? What's going to call you that's going to beat you when there's an ace on board? I'm more likely you bet and you get called by, like, pocket jacks or something.
Right. You might get called by pockets, like by a 6, though. You never know. Obviously, once again, you got to adjust according to the player.
Right.
You never know. Interesting. This is actually kind of cool. If you have a home game that you'd like to bring to the bike, write to us at liveatthebike.com. Give us your contact information, and we'll arrange a night to remember for you and your friends or family. Be treated like royalty, only at the bike.
Player.
3-way action limped around, and Craig's got trip kings, and he checks.
I actually think it would be kind of cool. How surprising. What a check.
Right.
Nobody's got anything here. I mean, there's nothing Karosh or Albie can catch.
Well, Karosh bets here on a flush draw.
Oh, okay.
And Craig is going to raise here to 40. And Karosh isn't going to chase this, right? Paired board, king, 10, jack. No.
You know what would be kind of cool, actually? Maybe we could set up, I know some of our viewers are in college, USC, UCLA fans and stuff. You know, maybe right around, I know USC and UCLA football-wise, they're both undefeated. You know, maybe that week we can get a theme night and we can get the USC poker players against the UCLA poker players.
How about the cheerleaders against the cheerleaders?
Now you're thinking. But it's kind of like rivalry week, you know, football week. I think that game's in a couple of weeks, I want to say.
Well, it's funny, the USC actually got bounced down by 7/1000ths of a point in the BCS standings.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of crap. What the hell is that? Stupid, like the BCS. The BS poll.
We have a raise here. And we got four-way action times 20. Couple of ace-jacks, pocket deuces, and king 8.
Well, I see a deuce.
Yep, there's a set of deuces. Al's got a set, but it doesn't look like anyone really has anything to pay him
Well,
off.
Gus has got top pair. Gus has king 8 here. I mean, you saw him. He had trouble laying down queen 10 before.
So Al bets $14 into an $80 bet with bottom set.
It's kind of a... He's consistent, He's consistently underbets the pot.
Right. And look at this. Gus is going to raise him. He's going to check raise, Dave.
There you go.
And these guys are pretty deep. So he makes it 45.
Now, do you smooth call here and let Gus bet again? Because Allen has position on him.
Well, he's going to raise it up, and he makes it 100. So a bet, a check raise, and a re-raise.
Well, and you can't like your king 8 here, huh? You've got no redraw to the diamonds. And even if you don't put the guy in a set, it's very easy for this guy to have 8-7 or ace 8.
And again, might it be kind of this macho thing where Al's been beating Gus out of pots all night long? Like, I'm not going to fold. I'm not going to let this guy run all over me.
Yeah,
all night.
Definitely could be. Some people do take poker personally. You and I always say, you got to leave your ego at the door if you want to play poker successfully. That is. It's never about getting his chips, or getting that guy back. You just got to play one hand at a time. And I think Gus is going to let this go. This is a good laydown if he does go.
Yep, he does.
That's a good laydown. I mean, top pair with a king kicker.
Give me credit for your fucking nines.
And that's a hand where, if we watched the big game on Friday night, half the players at the table would have got trapped.
Oh, of course. Of course.
I mean, B-Dub won. Barry Woods. Does he lay that down? I'm curious. I know he's listening at home. I want to know if he lays that down.
I think he calls at least once. I've never seen him lay down the top pair or an over pair.
On the flop?
Ever. Never. No, I'm serious. I mean, I'm not trying to give him a hard time. I've just never seen it.
And it works for him.
Yeah,
he's up
amazing.
phenomenally. I mean, he's doing really well in the game. So. Wow.
Al has raised it up to $16 with pocket sevens. And David has called him with a weak ace in C3, ace 7. The button calls with queen 10.
If Al just smooth calls that last hand, there is a chance that Gus won't follow through if an ace comes out or
another diamond.
A king. I'm not a king, obviously. A jack or a queen or another diamond.
Al bet's blind here.
$8.
10-3-3. $8 bet.
Well,
someone needs to go out and smack him, Dave. What is he doing?
It's making it really hard for us to figure out the pots.
Exactly.
40 total.
Koresh makes it 40 to go with queen 10. Now, can Al get in trouble? There's only one overcard to his sevens here. The board is paired with threes.
Yeah, David called in between, so that might save him.
Yeah, why did David call in between?
I don't know. Can't give you any reason. And Koresh takes it down.
With the best hand. God, I'm hungry. I missed eating out there. I had some chicken noodle soup when it was a little cold out here. It's about 65 degrees in LA and drizzling. Major storm.
Is it raining?
Yeah, what? Oh, not when you came in?
No.
No? I could go for some of that giant Japanese clam sushi.
Oh, yeah?
That we were looking at. Matsuishi move around in front of us. Nothing like eating live food.
And just for the record, for anybody listening at home, Bart and I actually went to lunch. Matsuhisu.
Matsuhisu, I'm sorry.
That's not a creative.
One of the best Japanese restaurants. Actually, one of the best restaurants, period. But definitely one of the best Japanese restaurants. Anywhere.
Thank you. Yeah. Only if you can see the clock.
if you're blind, I like it too.
Dave Tackman, quite the sushi snob.
Yes, very much so.
But other than that, I figure you're just going to muck your hands on
Well, LA's a snobby place, so there you go.
Yeah. Hey, food-wise, I like to eat good food. I have no problem paying for it.
No,
but,
neither do I.
You know, I'm not a fast food guy. I
Is
really
there good
enjoy
sushi
it.
in Vegas?
Huh?
Is there good sushi in Vegas?
A couple of decent
Is there a
restaurants.
place like in the Wynn that serves sushi?
I'm sure there is. I mean, the sushi restaurant, the Japanese restaurant in the Bellagio actually is pretty weak, and it's extremely overpriced.
Six-way action linked around. $30 pot. Ace Queen 7, couple diamonds.
That's actually going to be a new feature of liveatthebike.com. We're going to have movie reviews and restaurant reviews done by your favorite commentator.
Yeah, I'll be sure to get that stuff up as soon as I got a bet here.
Well, we're going to try to make liveatthebike.com your one-stop
Right.
website. Diapers, liveatthebike.com.
Benz is going to bet here with Queen 10.
Poker chips, liveatthebike.com.
Got checked around on the flop.
And, of course, your archives can be had at liveatthebike.com.
And look at this. Koresh is going to call. He's got a jack, and he has the best. Oh, excuse me. He's got third pair, and Queen 10 has him. And the river's an ace. Yeah, it just goes check, check.
Yeah, Brian obviously not in there anymore with 3-7.
Yeah. Would you ever value bet that river with Queen 10 at the end there, Dave? I mean, it's been pretty apparent that Kurosh has always led out with top pair. I wouldn't imagine him checking an ace on the flop. He seemed to throw a crying call in on the turn, and he did just have a jack.
Yeah, I mean, the ace is certainly a safe card.
Right.
You know, because the first, if you were beaten already by the ace, the second ace isn't going to change anything.
Right.
And you and I like to say, I mean, value betting, whether you're playing limit hold, especially in limit hold'em, but even in no limit hold'em,
25.
it's where a lot of people lose. You know, there's some hidden value in those value bets on the river.
$25 raise here by Brian, the big stack under the gun with ace-8 offsuit, gets called by seat 6 with jack 10 of spades. And David has the best hand in seat 3 with pocket 9s. Not really that good a flop for pocket 9s. Now Brian bets.
Pretty good flop for Ibenzi. He's got open-ended straight draw here.
There are 2 hearts on board. He's got backdoor spades. I believe it's a $30 bet on the flop.
Yeah, Brian bet. He's got the worst hand, actually. I mean, not the worst hand, but pretty much the worst hand.
He has no draw. He has bottom pair.
Exactly. Right. That's my point.
Well, now a bet and a call. Pocket 9s goes quickly in the muck, right? Which is the best hand right now.
Yeah. And now Brian has bet his way into having the best hands.
Turns a king, and ace-8 is still good. Brian checks.
See, now that's a place where you could probably bet it, because if the guy had a king, isn't he going to raise you up?
Well, once, how about this, Will? Once Brian checks, I really like the bet.
Oh, yeah, then it's...
Benz.
Thank you. Albie, what's the next thing we're going to plug? What? We need to plug something.
Nice bet there, though, on the turn by your Benz.
We've already done...
Wins it without even getting there.
Some more product placement?
Yeah, product placement.
Once again, we are live at the bike, folks. I'm David Tuckman here at Bart Hansen. You are watching No Limit Hold'em. Blinds are 3 and 5.
Should get an action figure to start placing.
If you have any questions or comments, please email us at liveatthebike.com.
Alan the action.
7 players.
And we have 7-way action limped around. $35 pot. Seems like this game is kind of slowed down to a grinding halt, Dave.
Yeah, there's a lot of money on the table,
Yeah.
but not a lot of the players are really mixing it up big time.
Looks like seat 8's got queen 8 of diamonds.
And that fellow in the blue hat there, he was a new player. That guy's Eric.
Well, David is called here with a flush draw. Koresh bet out with the queen 8. So flush draw against top pair.
I mean, Albie hasn't played a hand like in 2 hours, I think, right?
Well, there's the flush.
Plus, it's got to be a scary. It's an ace as well, so. And I think Koresh checked.
Yep. It looks like David is loading up to bet. He bets 40.
And now Queen 8's really got to look back, because that ace of clubs really, it gives every draw. If the guy had King 10, he got there. You know?
But he makes the call, Dave, and he is drawing dead.
I mean, even if the guy just had a queen, your 8's a bad kicker.
River's a 9. It just keeps getting worse and worse, doesn't it? I mean, doesn't that complete some more draws that maybe the guy...
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think, maybe if the guy had 10-9, you can still beat him.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the only draw you can think of. And if the guy had a queen, he probably had you beat already.
Bets again.
70.
Bets 70. I want to say, Dave, the pot's about $170. But maybe a little more than that, about $180, 70 to call.
And these are the kind of folds that you just need to make. I mean, if you want to be a winning poker player.
Any mucks. David takes it down there with a flush. Get a shot of our chips. The yellow chips in this game are $5 chips. The whites are $1 chips. And, excuse me, the whites are $100 chips and the blues are $1 chips. Button now moves to seat 4. We haven't seen that gentleman play all night either, Dave. He just got to the table about 20, 30 minutes ago.
Monster
Eric?
Energy drink. Is this a Pepsi product?
3 players.
Must be a Pepsi product, huh?
Three-way action. Limped around. Queen 9-3. Boy, these guys are really shut up too, huh? Haven't heard anybody talk in the last hour. Albie bet 15 with bottom pair from up front. And Brian, he's called with nothing. Is he going to make a move? Turn is a deuce. That'll be one of the first times I've ever seen Albie bet with nothing. Check, check. River's a 7, and now it gets checked to Brian. He's going to bet.
Now, is Albie going to pay off here?
I think he was just trying to make a move on the flop.
I'm wondering if he reads this guy as having nothing. No.
And actually, Brian was out of position, so when Albie checked the turn, Brian bet into him on the river.
Yeah, we've seen Albie bet. Albie will bet his hands on the flop. If he has a pair and he thinks maybe he can win it, he'll bet it on the flop. But if he gets any resistance whatsoever, he shuts down.
I had a prayer, I had a wing and a prayer. You had a wing? Did you have Jamaco? Or his cousin? Yeah.
20.
$20 raise here by seat number 3.
I heard somebody say
I think we should have like a, you know, like Where's Waldo? Where's Barry Woods right now? Is he in Vail? Vegas or LA?
2 players.
We can make it a board game and sell it on liveatthebike.com.
Al called here with 7-10 of hearts. He's checked blind to David. And he actually has the best hand. Check, check, turns a 5.
Jackpot. One more checky, huh? $7.
I think we're getting word that another limit hold'em table, Dave, hit a jackpot that we're not sitting at. Oh,
You gotta be kidding me.
I know, and it's just like...
That's it. Get away from me. Pissed off. Ridiculous. That's a game that one of us would definitely be in.
That's 2040, it's 40.
No, it's 30-60.
And that's a 30-60 game.
30-60.
30-60 game that one of us would definitely be in. 30-60 limit game, and we're talking about a $46,000 jackpot.
Players account.
Wow.
Blind side.
So basically, being in here has cost us at least $4,000 or $5,000.
Right.
Wow. Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Pot is limped around.
Man.
That was a 30-60
And this game has just turned into like just real passive.
Real passive. Well, the only person, Brian's the only one making moves.
Right.
Everybody else is pretty much playing it straightforward.
Ace 6-4 here on the flop. And Eric's going to bet with the flush draw.
And this happens sometimes in these smaller no-limit games. Even though there's a lot of money on the table, these guys aren't as comfortable having $1,000 in front of them.
Well, there's also just a lot of tight players at this table.
Well, you look at it, you go, if these guys were comfortable having $1,000 or $1,200 in front of them, they'd probably play the 3 to 5 or the $500 game.
Right.
But now you've got guys that have a lot of money in front of them, like Gus, or Albie even with $700, $800, and they don't want to really risk all that in one hand. So that would be great, actually. How about a board game? We can sell it live at thebike.com. And you can, pull cards like,
25.
Jesus gives you a bad beat, move back 3 spaces.
Barry Woods calls your $15,000 open-ended straight flush check raise with
Top pair.
pocket sevens.
Right.
Yeah. Move back 10 spaces.
Okay, 2 player.
Right, yeah, I like that. Lose your buy-in, go into your man purse for another buy-in.
Right.
All sorts of things. Wow.
Seat 5 brought this one in for a raise. He got called. And what
Endless
a great
possibilities
flop for seat 6. Flush draw and top pair.
We'll have that all out for everybody for Christmas, though.
Yeah.
Just check us out at
Now,
liveatthebike.com.
why did Brian call the flop?
60.
He checked. Look
To
at
make a move.
Is he going to make a move on the river? I mean,
To make a
Oop's
move.
got such a big hand here. $60.
But if he doesn't make anything on the river, let's see.
The river's a club. Brian checks. And he's going to bet 60. And let's see if he he's hit a pair, so maybe he's just going to call him off here, Dave. Yeah.
Really?
Brian just calls here because he made a pair at the end.
Now, that's a clear weakness in Brian's play there. I don't mind calling to make a move, but don't just call and pay off.
Right.
Because if the guy didn't have a 10, well, then he got there with clubs.
Right.
If the guy had 5-6, the 7 got there too. I mean, there's not much you can beat.
And there could be different facets of that board game. I mean, for each one of the usually the people from the big game,
Well, don't give away all the secrets now. Our research department is working on it right now.
Right. Ed Shanazarian calls your ace queen down with queen 3, spikes a 3 at the end.
Yeah, all sorts of things.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there are good things too.
Right. Seat 6 is raised here with pocket jacks. He makes it 30 to go. And we're not going to see a flop.
And this is interesting. I'm looking at the 2+2 thing. D Warrior says, I knew what a straddle bet is, but he doesn't know how to spell it. I knew what a straddle bet is, but is there a reason to ever do it? And the only thing I can say to that, once in a while we like to be interactive with our 2+2 viewers. You guys are really great and help us out. It's often just to get the game going.
Right.
Creates action.
Choose action.
Right. In a game like this, you might want to do it.
Yeah, because the
create
blind
action.
size is so small compared to the house. How deep the stacks are. Yeah. Al's got ace queen, and he's going to raise.
35 more. Sorry.
35 out of the big blind. Now seat 4 is in there, but he's going to fold.
Alan takes down.
I like that.
Yeah, Eric was in there for a second, but kind of just showed his cards and then threw them away.
We actually went when we were in Vegas doing the Live at the Bike convention at the Rio. We went out to dinner at the other type of Japanese place, like a Japanese steakhouse where they cook it in front of you.
Like a Benihana type
Yeah, it
place.
was called, what the hell is it called?
45.
There's a name for it, and I can't remember the name for it.
You have a purple chip, put it in.
Teppanyaki. Teppanyaki. There you go. Pocket queens against ace king suited here.
Okay. See what happens.
And Brian brought it in for a raise with ace 9 suited.
And that's Albie with ace king suited.
just
Let's see
calls.
how tight he really is.
But here we go. Now queens is going to move all in.
Now, it's only about, I want to say maybe $85.
So a $20 raise, and he's in for maybe 110 there, Dave. I was going to say, if everybody else folds, would you call with ace king suited here?
Now, how much money does he have left? How much money is he in already for?
He's already in for 20, and Brian was in for 20. So if Brian folds, you've got to already have
So $60 in there already.
$50 in dead money, the blinds plus the raise.
Right.
Yeah.
So you got to look at it and go, well, 40 plus 110 is 150 with 85 to call.
Now I was going to say, look at this, Dave. I was going to say, I know Brian wants the call, but you can't call when Albie called your raise, right? I would just think that you know that ace 9 is not a good hand.
Yeah, especially when Kurosh moves in over the top after.
Right.
Beat us both like a redheaded stepchild.
And Albie calls as well.
Wow.
So there's going to be a side pot here between Brian and Albie. The pot's already at $300. Here we go. King 8-8.
Now this is interesting here. Albie's got top pair.
Yeah. Wow. And this is exactly what I wanted to see. What Albie could, what would happen. He's bet $700 here. Brian has with a spade draw, and Albie has ace king.
He bet $700.
$700.
Wow.
In white chips.
Now the interesting here, Brian here's there's a dry side pot. He's risking $700. There is no side pot.
Right. Exactly.
If he doesn't hit his spades, he's only correcting. He's actually protecting Kurosh's hand.
Right.
Because Kurosh, he's almost drawing dead Kurosh.
Right.
Because the queen of spades doesn't help him.
Right. This is money
Well,
on the
actually, queen of
side.
spades is
I
full
don't
house.
really even understand the bet here. I mean, you might even check it and hope Albie checks behind you, so you just keep getting free cards to your draw, right?
Yeah.
And he makes the call, Dave. He's going to call. And we've got a $1,400 side pot.
Well, Kurosh has only got
$300 in the
$2.
main, and ace comes on the turn.
That's no help.
Kurosh needs a queen to hit the main, but the real money's in the side pot. Needs to dodge a spade, and it's a spade! Oh, wow! Kurosh takes down the main pot with a full house, but a $1,400 side pot is taken down there by Brian with the flush.
Wow.
Wow.
I take that. You take whatever you want.
I called for it, Dave, but I wanted to see what would happen if Albie was put in a situation like that.
And he made a tough call.
I don't care about that one. I wanted this one.
You probably would have thrown that away anyway after ace king if you had money.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
And the bet by Brian is just it's perplexing.
ridiculous. Yeah.
Well, because he can only win if a spade hits.
Right.
I mean, unless you put Kurosh on a couple like Jack 10 or something. I mean, although it would have been interesting if he gets Albie to fold, the ace of the turn actually gives him the lead.
That's right. That would have been amazing.
So let's work that out there. I think Kurosh actually tripled up to about $330.
Yeah.
And Albie went broke. He lost all his money.
Right, on the side.
And I want to say that Brian there lost 100 to Kurosh, but then won about 600 from Albie.
Right.
So he was probably up 500 on the pot. Wow.
I needed that.
And there you go. The worst hand takes it all down.
Go.
And I incorrectly actually said that the Queen of Spades wouldn't have given him the hand. I didn't see the paired board right away.
Go.
And look at that hat. Bad beat me. Brian's wearing a hat that says bad beat me.
Turn is an ace here.
$6?
5 is fine.
You said $6?
5 is fine.
You said $6.
And now Alan bets here with top pair.
Oh yeah. Well, if you say I'm gonna bet $6, I'll bet $6. No problem with
And seat 6 has got a pair of 8s. He's going to muck.
And I'm getting this did Barry Woods? He's talking about his play with Ace 10 of Spades on 2+2.
Yeah.
And if you are listening but not aware of what he's talking about, just go to 2plus2.com, click on forums, and click on Live at the Bike. Go to actually World Poker Tour and other events, and click on the Live at the Bike thread for October 24th, and you can click down and see the B-Dub-1. But he made a huge call for $1,200 with Ace High, no pair, no straight draw, no flush draw really, and he caught runner to win the big pot.
I think he called Ace 10 pre-flop for $1,200 all in. I think that's the point of that.
Oh, wow.
That's amazing.
Okay. There you go.
C2 raised here to 35. 35, Alan. Ace Queen. The way that Barry Woods wrote it up, I think he actually said he raised it with Ace 10 of Spades. Guy came over the top of him for $1,200 and he called. Which is definitely amazing. And here we go again with these two, Gus and Al. And Gus lays the King Jack down.
And give Barry credit, at least he said, as he was calling, he said, well, this is a terrible call, but I'm going to do it anyway.
No. You do the same, right? You do this.
But just like Barry Woods does, he won the pot anyway.
Right.
Huh? Yeah, I don't like it either.
I gotta get you to start respecting my bets. We always get it.
Now, interesting that people, are saying on the thread, saying that straddle is a loss of expected value because you're putting in more money out of position. I don't really tend to straddle that much, Dave, but in certain situations, like when you're playing short-handed, and say you're playing in a three-handed game and you can straddle on the button, it really is an interesting move.
Yeah, to me, if you are playing 3- or 4-handed, no limit hold'em, you should straddle every single time you can. Because you got to think about it. If you're straddling in a 4-handed game, you're straddling in the cutoff seat.
Right.
You put a lot of pressure on the button to make a move, and if he doesn't call,
right,
you suddenly have position.
Right.
3-handed, obviously, you always have position, which is really nice.
Well, a couple people have top pair here.
20.
Eric and seat 6, Ubenzi. And Ubenzi's going to bet right out for 20, and Eric calls.
2 players.
And we're heads up. Turns at 3.
Well, that gives Eric some other outs here.
Benzi bets again.
Eric needs a queen, an ace, or a 9 now. Queen, the ace would actually... Queen, ace, or king, obviously, would chop it up.
$40 bet and a call, and the river is a diamond, and it's probably just going to get checked down here, and seat 6 is going to take it with the better kicker.
Yeah. Yeah. Now in a full ring game, a 9-handed game, I almost never
straddle. Right.
Never straddle.
Right.
The only time I will straddle once in a while is if I want to create an image that I'm a kind of a loosey, crazy player, gambler. I'll have a beer in my hand and I'm kind of putting on an act. But that's really it. I mean, there's not
because
much.
the advantage is, like you said, playing short-handed, 3 or 4-handed. It's almost like the advantage that you have when you're playing, say, heads up, no limit, or any form of heads up. When you're actually the small blind, you are actually in a unique situation when you're first to act to put a bet in when you're heads up, but then you are last to act after the flop in each other round.
Right,
you're
right,
on the
right.
button. When you straddle, I mean, you're putting in a forced
Right,
raise.
but if you're straddling the 3-handed,
right, you're on the button.
You get to act last on it on every street,
Right.
including pre-flop,
Right.
which is why there's an advantage. But I have to agree with people on 2+2. I don't see a reason. Why do I want to put in more money blind out of position?
Right.
I mean, that's just. Unless you're a gambler, what's the point?
Pot was limped around, and Karosh raised it to 20 more with ace queen, and boy, everyone's called here. Wow. So we got 5-way action times 20.
$100 pot here.
Yeah. 10-6-4, a couple diamonds.
Well, Brian's got top pair.
But so does Craig, and Brian has him out kicked. Karosh is going to check. And Craig's pretty short here. He's going to move all in.
I think Brian's going to call this. I mean, the pot's big enough where Brian really should call.
Now, should he call or should he raise?
He might want to raise the minimum, get people out behind him.
Craig has bet about the size of the pot.
111.
He's got only one person behind him. Craig has already checked. Excuse me, Karosh, who was the pre-flop raiser, checked from up front. So unless he's trying to set some sort of trap, let's see what Brian does. I think he has raised here.
Yeah.
Well, let's see here.
I see at least one white chip out there, so I want to say a small raise.
He did just call.
Okay.
Here we go again.
So maybe he was just afraid that maybe Kurosh was trying to set some sort of play up. But the thing is, even if Kurosh comes over the top, I still think Brian would call.
Well, yeah, Kurosh doesn't have enough money
Yeah.
for Brian to get away from his hand, I don't
Yeah.
think.
But you're being insane because the next one's going to cost you.
And Brian's in great shape here. With a 6 and a 4 out there, the odds are that it's not going to get chopped up.
Turns a jack.
Oh!
River is a 7, and how about Craig wins it?
Oh, man.
River's him.
And 7.
Wow.
I'm going to take that back and give him 100.
And he wants to keep to his white. And he shoves over some
river, sir.
stacked yellows.
Nice.
Well, Brian, you had quite the river against
Yeah,
Albie.
exactly. How quickly they forget, you know?
Right.
How often do we see players complain about a river card? Or they complain about a bad beat, and they remember it for months and months. But they never remember the bad beats they give. We only got about 20 minutes left here on Live to Bike. You're watching No Limit Hold'em, 3-5 blinds. I'm David Tuckman here with Bart Hansen. If you have any questions or comments, please email us at liveatthebike.com. We do read them.
You can hear everybody going home.
Everyone at home, yeah. Right into my website.
And look at it, they're talking about our board game that we might put on the on liveatthebike.com for Christmas. And we've got 3 or 4 people that want to buy it already.
Six-way action here, limped around.
That's true, too. I didn't have to call. You could have had King's Fall. He raised and he raised. He made a big re-raise.
I mean, this is the kind of game where I love the mini raise in
late position.
In late position, exactly.
Flop was checked around. Ace high known as an ace. The turn's a 7. And now Kurosh is going to bet with a diamond draw. He gets called by Gus with a 10.
And he also has a 10. 3 players have a 10. That was the case 10 on the flop.
3 players.
Eric mucks, but Brian's in there with a gut shot, and the river's an 8.
Well, Gus makes 2 pair then.
Yep. Kurosh bets again. 20. See if Gus makes a
Any
little
value in
raise.
raising here? Yeah.
And he does raise.
30 more.
30 more, Dave.
I figure 700 would probably get you out of there.
I know. I know that's what you
And again, Brian talking about that. I keep that hand just keeps going back in my mind with that spade draw, Dave, and I just think that's. I don't know. I just think it might have been the worst moves that you could make there.
Yeah, I mean,
on that
if you
side
have
pot.
ace king of spades or even ace queen of spades,
right,
you might make that move thinking, well, maybe Kurosh is in there with some garbage ace also.
Right.
Maybe he has ace jack. But with ace 9, I mean, you can't beat anything. You really got to hit a hand. You got to hit something.
It's easy to lay it down when you don't have nothing.
Kurosh mucks.
Well, no, I had a 10, but no kicker.
That's right. Ace or a 10 will have you beat it.
And there's nothing wrong with when there's a dry side pot. There's nothing wrong with betting if you're protecting your hands.
Right.
You know, if I have pocket 7s in that case.
Well, like we saw earlier in the night with Albie.
Yeah, when he had pocket 7s
Right.
versus ace king,
Right.
it makes sense there. You got to protect your hands.
So Brian has what? He's up maybe 300 or 400 from the start. And Peter was the big winner, but he's since gotten up and left. Gus is down a little bit since our last trip count. Alan actually is he's up.
Yeah, Alan's up about $300 or $400.
Yeah. About $400. And Albie, he rebought for $200. Again, I mean, are these players privy to the fact that they can rebuy for $300?
And Albie's actually down, like, I want to say $600, $700 tonight.
Did they
Kurosh as well.
change
Kurosh is
that
actually
rule?
third buy-in.
Did they change that rule since?
No, a lot of these players, they want to buy in. I mean, I've seen the 3 to 5 game, people buying in for 300. They go, oh, why should I buy in for more?
Well, you can buy in short, though, if they want to do that, too, one time, you know?
Yeah.
Well, Benzie's flop trip deuces. Plot was limped around.
Gus has got top pair.
He bets.
25. No problem for it?
Bet straight out. He's first position to act, and he bets straight $25 to see where he's at. And watch your Benzie. I almost guarantee you Benzie's going to smooth call him.
How did you know that, Dave?
Wow.
You're so good.
It smells it. Wow.
Turn is a 3.
That makes Gus is open-ended now.
And he bets.
Down when you last time, it'd be nice. Coach got doing it. He did it again.
And he just calls again. Maybe he's worried about his kicker. And the river is a 4. And
Wow.
Gus fills up.
Yep, that was
Wow.
one of the many.
And he checks. He checks. And Ubenzi checks behind him. How do you check that? Oh, my.
You know how on the World Poker Tour there's that lady who
Boy.
Yeah. Bet when you're behind. Bet when you're behind. Then when
Yeah.
you get there, check it.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't.
You know, it was funny. I mean, I like good, solid, aggressive play, but Gus's hand became so strong on the turn that might you actually want to check if you really think the guy has a deuce so that you won't get raised.
No, that's the whole point of betting. It's a perfect time for your stop bet, your blocker
Right.
bet. You
But
put a
the
nice
thing-
little $30. But if you check,
But the problem is that if he has a deuce, he's probably going to raise. I mean, that was absurd.
I don't know. I gotta
No?
be honest. Why is he definitely going to raise? A lot of amateurs, because they go, wait, I can do it on the river. I don't need to raise here.
Okay.
I'm going to let this guy keep bluffing into me with my deuce.
Yeah.
But the worst play to me on the river, when the guy checks it, when he smooth calls you on the flop, what do you put him on? The flop is 4 deuce deuce.
Right. Rainbow.
Okay.
Rainbow.
You know, what are you putting on? You go, okay, this guy's got a deuce. Great. Now, when the river comes a 4, it's the perfect time to throw in that kind of over bet because you know the guy has a deuce.
Right.
Man.
I'll take it back. Stop.
Next time.
All right.
885.
Pot is limped around here.
Call play.
Ace, queen, queen.
Missed.
Alan, you want these?
Hey, Dave, how many paired boards have we flopped tonight? It's amazing.
And once again, it misses everybody, huh?
Turns a king. Now Al's got a
Look for
pair.
you. So, do you want these? Go ahead.
One more key.
No one bets. River's a jack. Now Kurosh backs into a straight,
I got a bet, guys.
No, you don't.
and he bets 20.
20.
And I don't think he's going to get called, no.
Now, is there any point in betting that one with 10? Might you get called by something? Maybe you get called by a queen?
Well, the way the
Somebody
hand
has it?
played out, I would be really surprised if anyone had a queen.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
What's 2 queens?
And a king.
There was a king there, no?
No, I think you were totally right that you really might want to overbet the river when you back into a forceful there at the end.
Yeah, one of my biggest pots I ever won, I mean, you were actually there. The flop came out 6 deuce deuce. I bet, and the guy smooth calls me. Well, I'm not an idiot. What do you think the guy might have?
Right.
You know, so when I hit my set of 9s on the river.
On the river.
When I hit my set of 9s, because I got slow played it so much, I massively overbet the pot, hoping he had a deuce.
And he ended up actually having 6s full.
Right, he actually had a set of 6s, but I knew
Yeah.
he had a big hand. You know, I mean, it was obvious. I mean, I
Actually,
think
we
the guy
must give
calls-
the guy credit because it took a long time to call. At the end,
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
But you understand where I'm going there.
Yeah. We get a raise here.
Yeah, pocket aces from Ubenzi.
Craig's got king jack suited in seat 1.
In position, too. Wow.
He's not going to call.
How big was the raise?
35, I believe.
Hey, those chips are lucky.
Wow.
Those chips are lucky.
Man, I got to tell you, these guys are.
Yes.
I mean, most of the play is pretty tight, pretty solid.
Yeah.
You know, obviously a little more passive than you and I would like, but overall the play is a lot more solid here than it is in the big game.
And actually, that hand, for those of you wondering how that hand played out, Dave had pocket 9s, and he had raised in late position. I think just the big blind called you.
The big blind and one other player called me,
Yeah.
and the flop came out.
And the pot was only maybe $60 at that time. I
Right.
think he raised it to 20. And you bet, 35 or 40 into the pot, and the guy called, I think. So the pot was about 100. And you really thought that he had something big. He checked on the
everybody
turn.
checked to me. The flop's 6 deuce deuce.
Right.
Everybody checks to me, so I throw in a bet with my pocket 9s. He
Right.
smooth calls, the other guy folds.
Right.
Okay, I'm going, okay, there's no draw out there. What does the guy have? So when the turn brought out a 7 and he checked again, I took the free card. I'm not going to bet that.
And then on the river, you hit a 9. He bet about, maybe not even that much, maybe $16 to $100 pot. You moved all in for $1,500.
Yeah.
And I think he called.
And he called me.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to make it look like it was steal,
Right,
you know,
right,
and,
right.
and
Seat 4 is bet here. 20.
and he actually had, I think he only had about 800 left.
Right.
But I figured the guy had at least a deuce. And I thought maybe he'd call me if he had ace deuce or king deuce or any deuce.
Action's on Kurosh here. He's going to call with second pair and the 9 of spades. And Eric is just on a stone cold bluff here. He has nothing. And he was the better on the flop. Betting into that 3 flush with the king out there. Because normally, Dave, you're not going to get somebody to call. I like the bet. I mean, 7-9 with a 9 of spades on this flop. It's really not a strong hand.
Yeah, Karosh has made some questionable plays today, so.
Yeah, Eric was just firing one shot.
He took a shot, and that was it.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, people make the mistake of trying to put a value bet on the river, and what they don't realize is, if the guy is bluffing you and he has nothing, or he has a really mediocre holding, he's not even going to call a small raise. So, like in that case where the pot was maybe $200, if I raise it up $150, if he has nothing, he's not even going to call $150.
Right.
But if the guy has trips or better, he'll probably call any amount, which is at least some of the thinking that we try to talk about. We try to advocate.
We're just a bunch of brainwashers. We're trying to instill thinking. Pocket jacks here for Al in seat 2.
And obviously, these are just our opinions. One thing I like to always say about poker is, the great thing about it is you can always keep learning. Keep changing your game. Always learn from other people.
But you just started grabbing your chips.
He's going to call you.
Where's the
Start off position with that rag hand. You're going to raise with.
I mean, the great thing about our job is we get to watch poker, hundreds of hours.
Al has raised here to 35 with pocket jacks.
And obviously we get to teach ourselves. Players teach us all the time. New moves, new plays.
Action's on the button there with 7-10 offsuit. I don't know really what he's thinking about. He's going to fold. Eric folds. Brian's got 3-7 suited. He's not going to call. And Karosh. King rag suited. He mucks. Let's see if we can get a shot at Brian there and see if I would take a look at a guy that hasn't slept in 42 hours.
Yeah, he looks good.
Looks like he's got his eyes closed.
I mean, I'm getting word that he smells good. He looks good.
There's one more call.
Oh my god.
What is that coming out?
I mean, hey, it's a heck of a session. I don't care how long he's been here, but for a 200 game, even if he's been here for 48 hours, I mean, this guy's got almost over $4,000 in front of him. I mean, even if he's had to rebuy 3 times and he's in for 600, who cares?
Pocket queens here for Karosh. He raised.
I think we're going to come out with a new commercial for Live at the Bike. We should use that right there.
I trust your judgment.
Wow, Al called with ace-10 offsuit. Craig is in there with pocket 6s, and C3's in there with king-queen. And we've got a $100 pot going 4 ways. Karosh, the pre-flop raiser. And he hits a set of queens, and David's got top 2 pair, and Alan's got a gut shot.
Wow.
But I don't think David has that much, though. David.
Yeah, but that's just such a bad flop for David. Such a bad flop. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it, too. King, queen, 5, rainbow.
And Karosh, he checked his set. And David's going to bet, and I have a feeling that all his chips are going to be gone.
I mean, you can't
unless he
blame.
can spike a king.
Yeah, that's just one of those times you just go, what are you going to do about that one?
It's a $40 bet, and I don't think Karosh has all that much either.
How about Karosh gets tricky with it and just calls, and then Alan stays in there, catches a jack.
Catches a jack, right? Yeah.
Look at 140.
140.
No, he is going to raise, dude. He's going to make it 140. And I think the other Dave is going to push all in here, I would imagine.
Yeah.
I'm all in.
And there you go.
That was actually good. How much more? He goes, what the hell am I doing?
Yeah.
Let's just go. I'm all in. Oh.
Yeah.
And nothing David can do here. I mean, that's just bad luck. And he needs a king and a king only.
Come on, give me one.
No.
Yeah.
Slow roll.
And yeah, he slow rolled him. He didn't show David. David flipped over king queen, and he actually didn't show him until the end.
That's terrible.
And he was like, come on, I need a card. And then he flipped over queens.
Ooh-wee.
What a jackass.
You needed a card, huh?
I'm sorry. I don't like to get personal here, but that's just, you know what? If you have the winning hand and you're all in, and you show them, or at least tell them what you have. I mean, don't slow roll them like that. It's just not nice.
Okay.
You know, I mean, you got a lucky flop. He had an unlucky flop.
David didn't look too happy.
Well, it's bad enough you got to lose your money, and you got to rub it
You
in.
can get, I show you my hand, and then you want to wait, and all the way after the ribbon, you want to show me in? Hey, I'm 200 behind.
I tell you what, I've been getting some sunshine today. Got really some bad beats today. I'm telling you.
What'd he say?
That's like a 2-outer to beat you, and you're worried about it. You know?
Button has moved over here to
I mean, I move all in on you. You have the best
Ryan,
hand.
seat 5.
More than that. And then you want to needle me too. That wasn't good enough, huh?
Hey, Kev Math, I second that petition.
Is there a high-stakes cash game that's being developed for GSN?
Supposedly. If Kev Math says it, it's true.
You do that to me, we'd be.
I second that petition.
Oh, you win fair and square. You win fair and square. Don't ham it up like that. Get excited when no.
Raise here by Eric, Ace King.
That's how much is that?
25, 20 more.
25 to go.
Give you action or no?
And I don't know about you, but Kev Math is definitely on my Christmas list. I do. I mean, the 2+2 thread.
Why don't you send him some of your wife's chocolate chip cookies she makes? Boy, those are good.
Why
don't you
will.
start bringing some of those, more of those in here too?
She'll make some.
She makes some more for the
She's
holidays,
actually
right?
busy preparing for a Halloween party, but no, I mean, back to the 2+2 thing. I really want to let everybody know, not kissing ass here, but in all honesty, we really do appreciate you guys out there. It makes our job a lot easier knowing you guys are watching, and interacting with you obviously makes it all the more fun for us.
Now, Eric raised and Craig called pre-flop. Look at this. Eric does not bet heads up here.
Wow.
Takes the card, turns queen.
If you got 4s here, don't you love your hand here?
Well, now I think you have to bet, don't you?
I think so.
And he does. And again, I mean, the problem with checking the ace-king in position there is that Eric could have, right now, he could have 7, 9 of hearts and make this bet.
Oh, totally. Ace-jack, whatever.
Yeah.
Anything. You've been deuced to bluff.
You know what?
Craig's taking it.
Guys, that wasn't that stupid. I don't have to show my.
And look at this.
You have
Now,
ace-
listen to this, Dave, at the table. People are, they're really upset at Koresh, and he's firing back.
Yeah.
Brian is actually
You don't like it? Tough.
It's like bad manners.
giving him a hard time.
Tough, baby. That's my attitude. Tough.
And in the end, you know what? It's his option to do whatever he wants. It's just proper etiquette. If somebody actually, if neither player is showing you cards, hey, don't have to. That's no problem. But if the other player is showing you a card and you have him beat, well, then show your cards or say it.
Right.
You know.
On this one, unfortunately, I'm going to have to agree.
I mean, because David clearly thought he had the best hand, obviously.
You know what? I don't have to show my hand till the river.
It wasn't a
That one.
And he's right. He doesn't have to. It's just etiquette. It's just manners.
Everybody said. Anybody had a chance to win. I mean, I was worried about that king.
Queen,
I'm telling you.
10, 6
Honestly,
here
I was
on the
worried
flop.
about that king.
And that's fine.
That's fine, but you made it look like you were drawing.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's it. You made it look like you were
No, I was.
And this is good. This is actually some good table talk here.
But my word was, oh God, is he going to be the
It
king?
looked like you were drawing, and they probably gave the guy false hope. That's
Yeah.
what these guys
And
are
listen,
saying.
I'm sorry, but that wasn't my intention. I was really worried that whether he's going to get it or not.
20.
Good etiquette would apologize to the guy for doing that.
I did.
Get a
I'm
bet
telling
and a
you,
fold.
I didn't hear you say it.
I apologize to him multiple times.
And what it comes down to is, what it comes down to in poker, this is going to be our last hand I'm getting word. What it comes down to is if you're playing poker and you're a poker player,
Be honest with you.
your honor is all you have.
Yeah.
Your word is all you
Because I wasn't
have.
feeling
You know,
good about it. Be honest with you, I was really.
if you wanna be treated well, treat other people well. You know,
If he puts a king
you want to
out
play on the
there,
internet, you can play any way you want to play. You know, throw your mouse, who cares? But if you're you're trying to have fun here. These guys aren't professional poker players.
Don't worry about it. He's gone. Yeah.
So this is going to be the last hand of the night, Dave.
lock himself on roster 5 cards. Yeah, you gotta put him on there.
The whole time?
And it got limped around, and here we go at the flop. Jack 5 deuce.
Craig's got the best hand here with ace deuce.
That's right. We only got like 2 more minutes.
Check, check. Check, check.
Yep, checked around. Turns an 8. And ace deuce is still good.
I'm surprised that Benz didn't take a shot at that in position with king queen of heart, king queen offsuit.
River's a jack.
Wow, Craig's still holding the best hand there.
And ace deuce is going to take it down. And that is going to do it for us tonight, Dave. Of course, as always, it's pleasure to do the show with you, and it was a fun 3 hours. It got a little slow towards the end, but sometimes it's the nature of the game.
Poker.
But we'll be back tomorrow with another exciting poker game, either no limit or limit. We haven't really decided yet. We're kind of playing it by ear now, waiting to see what the strongest game is to put down.
It'll probably be Hold'em, though, huh?
Probably Hold'em.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 cards, 5 community cards in the middle. I'll be back with Shirley Rosario. So for everybody here in the booth and for David Tuckman, good night, everybody, from Live at the Bike.
It's here. It's big. And it's closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the Bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.